Hello, Street Fight friends and family, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. We are here to take calls. That's right. Once again, it's Sunday night. We're Street Fight, WCRS LP FM here in Columbus, Ohio. Listen to the best on WCRS. There's all kinds of great shows. You can find it at WCRSFM.org as well. The number to dial is 614-655-3887. And we want to talk to you. The queue is open. We're ready to hear what's going on in your world. And we want to know what's going on. That's it. That's what we do. We're hanging.
Black velvet and our little boy smile.
And watching the Black Velvet video. That's what we've been doing. We have our licorice. We have some twisty ropes, rainbow.
Sweetheart twisted rainbow punch ropes. So, yeah. Black velvet and a soul southern style. That song is good.
You're going to be blaring it?
No, probably not. Not when I get in the car. You know what I have to listen to now? Is Hellbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie. I have to listen to that.
The song?
The whole album.
The album.
Probably twice.
Every day?
Tomorrow, at least. Maybe tonight? I don't know yet.
Why?
I've not listened to it yet. It's POD cast and...
Oh, I thought you were really grabbed onto this album in your personal life.
No, I haven't felt like listening to it, but I have to do it tomorrow because I'm reviewing it.
It all sounds the same. It all just sounds like the grunting guy.
Yeah. I mean, I was a Rob Zombie fan, so I don't think I'm going to hate... Well, White Zombie fan. I kind of jumped off when Rob Zombie happened. I thought a little too mainstream for me when he went Rob.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I was like, this White Zombie is the best.
Yeah, the bloody guitars and shit.
Yeah. When I kind of jumped off, so...
I do like Rob Zombie. I do still listen to a lot of it. But... I never know the names of the songs because it all sounds the same.
Oh, yeah.
It's like AC/DC.
One of those fucking albums, you know, like, you know, you do the POD cast and you review all these fucking albums and stuff. And then, like, you review all these albums and, like, sometimes you're like, you know, you get an Incubus or something where you're like, oh, you know, there's a lot I can fucking sink my teeth into. There's... You know, all these songs sound different and there's all this weirdness going on. And then some months you get a fucking Rob Zombie where it's like, I don't know. I mean, it all sounded like one song.
Yeah. I was just banging my head the whole time. Like, yeah, that's all I was doing.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like with that show, like, though the regular episodes, right? Easy. I can do, because we don't go track by track.
Okay.
On regular episodes of the POD cast. So, like, if I'm doing Rob Zombie, I'm talking about the overall vibe and the feel of the Rob Zombie album. Maybe being like, oh, you know, Living Dead Girl fucking kicks ass. You know what I mean? Like, you just talk about a couple of the songs you like. Now, when you do the bonus content on that show... Sometimes it'll be like, hey, you know, you guys need to review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre soundtrack. And not one song stands out. And you got to go track by track and you're like, is this the one where they said, like, I'm a pimp or something? You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to remember, like, you're trying to grasp on to anything that's in one of these fucking songs. But yeah, Hellbilly Deluxe should be fun. I mean, that's not a bad album to do. It's not really new metal. I let it slide.
It's the new wave of American heavy metal.
I think it's just like rockabilly metal, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is like Wikipedia style, like Pantera and Beyond was like the stuff that took over. That was just a whole new style of metal that only happened here.
I don't really know what
and new
Rob
metal's
Zombie.
In there too.
I don't even know what Rob Zombie is. Like, I don't even know like how you call it metal. Really, it doesn't even. Like, Rob Zombie to me and White Zombie, they never really fucking were like, I'm gonna mosh to this music. Right? Like, you don't listen to it and think like, oh, I gotta mosh to this stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, all I think about is just
way.
I guess just bouncing my head up and down.
Yeah,
it's more party-ish.
Yes. I've said this before. Maybe even on the 100 Million Tons of Steel, I've talked about this. With, like, party music metal is not party music. You don't put metal on at a party. You can't. People will fucking get all mad at you and yell at you. I hung out in a group of all metal fans growing up. Like every one of us, metal fans, you throwing a party, you ain't fucking listening to metal. You're listening to rap and pop and stuff like that. But White Zombie, Los Exorcisto, Devil Music Volume 1, and Astro Creep, you can put those on and people will fucking go a little wild, man. And, you know, people love Dragula and shit like that. So it's kind of cool. Jonathan Dennis in the chat said, Rob Zombie's from my hometown of Haverhill, Massachusetts. His name is on the sign, welcome to Haverhill sign.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would love it if we had like somebody like that in Columbus. Like
us?
That would be nice. You know, that would actually be really great if it was like home of Brett Payne and Brian Quinby. But anything really would be nice.
Dave Thomas, the Wendy's guy?
No, we don't want him.
We don't?
I don't think so. No. I mean, working at Wendy's sucks.
And people complain about the food all the time.
Yeah, people don't like Wendy's. Wendy's is down at the lowest tier of fast food right now. They're going through they're going through a phase. But like, hold on. I can name a person from
21 Pilots.
That's it. That's the guys. That's who we have, dude. I can't think of any other people from Columbus, Ohio. You know, I remember growing up in Groveport wanting to be somebody when I got older, which is definitely obvious that I wanted to be something.
It's a good Wasp
how
song.
I ended up being.
It's a good Wasp song too.
And so I grow up wanting to be somebody and like never knowing anybody famous from Columbus. And then living in Groveport, always being like, we had a wall of fame at our high school, and it had an astronaut that wasn't even one of the famous astronauts. I think his name was like Thomas Hennon. And then we had a tennis player who didn't like really win anything, but she did play in Wimbledon. Lilia Osterloh. So that's what we all hung our hat on there. Like, I mean, I guess famous people come out of this school, but it's even the same. I mean, R.L. Stein is from here.
Yeah, and Simone Biles.
Oh, is
She's
she?
probably the biggest one.
She probably don't live here, though.
I don't know. Not anymore. I wouldn't. Once you have that amount of money, there's no reason to be here.
Guy Fieri is a pretty shocking one.
Yeah, I remember that because they wanted to change it to Flavortown, and then he's a piece of shit owner, and then
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's really slim pickings. If I gotta tell you, it's tough, man. You go through and like the only one that I really am proud of now that I know about is Philip Michael Thomas, who played Tubbs on Miami Vice. And Tubbs was cool though. Tubbs was fucking cool. You gotta admit.
Okay.
He was cool as shit. Go look at him in those Miami Vice pictures.
I know. Yeah, he's smooth.
Tell me he's not cool.
I like that style.
Yeah. So, well, you know, maybe someday we'll pull into Columbus after a tour, and it'll say "Home of Tubbs."
Home of Street Fight Radio and Tubbs.
That's what I'm proud of. I would have a cutout of him on the arch when you come into the state from, I believe, the north or the east.
Yeah.
There's an arch. Let's just get a fucking big cutout of Tubbs in his Tubbs costume, dude. People would want to move here.
But what if you had a cutout that was like a Miami Vice cutout, but there was no Crockett, and you got to go stand in there next to like a Tubbs painting or like a cutout or like a wax figure or something?
I always like that.
Like you're in the scene and you got your blazer on with the sleeves rolled up and you just kind of kick back on the side of a Countach.
I don't think you can do wax figure outside.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the science behind wax figures, but I'm 90% sure you can't do a wax figure on the outside because it would look scary after one day in the summer.
Yeah, you're right.
One day.
All right. You're right.
It's one day in the summer, and you walk up and you're like, okay, well, I'm out of here. So, It would be nice to have famous people. Like, people in LA get famous, and people in New York, they like get famous because they're like, I know a few famous people, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, every time we go to New York and we hang out with people, granted, we're like on the periphery of show business, but every time we hang out with people, you know, they always know some famous people or like have talked to them or have met them. So it's kind of like, I have this thing in my mind where, like, if you live in New York, you just know somebody that ended up famous.
Yeah, I think I felt that way when I was in elementary school, probably.
Yeah, well, I never kind of grew up from elementary school, so yeah. I've been watching boxing documentaries.
Okay, the sweet science.
I think I'm getting into boxing.
That's a weird time to get in, but
It's very fucking weird. I'm like thinking about Googling who the boxers are right now. That's my next step. Is Google who are the boxers, and then find out if I'm into it, because I think I know a lot about boxing now because I watched a lot of documentaries about it recently, and I kind of know how the fight game works. You know what I mean?
of course I do. Yeah, I can see how you could pick that up pretty easily just from watching documentaries.
And then Katie fucking keeps making fun of me because when we go out on our walk, I sometimes will shadow box to try to get like the blood flowing to the upper part, you know? And she's like, you don't look like tough. Like, you don't look like you're boxing. And nobody boxes the way that you, because like the way I move, it's like this. Like, imagine a boxer and he goes in like this. I'm going to stand up. I don't know if people can get me, but this is my move.
Okay.
Right? This is just two jabs and an uppercut.
Okay.
And that's my new thing. Yep. Oh, you can see me a little bit in the frame. But yeah, I do that now. I'm a boxer.
Yeah. I think most people that are like imitating movies and they look really slumped over, like and really slow. So I know what Katie's saying.
I did fall down the other day trying to do footwork.
Okay. Why don't you just go get to a boxing gym or something?
I'm thinking about it. But I want to do footwork, and I'm like, I think like I was telling Katie, I was like, I think like I should go to like a MMA or a boxing gym because it's something I want to do. I'm joining a gym this winter. It's time to join a gym and really get in there and get fit, you know? And, but I think I'm going to like fight or box or kickbox. One of the three, you know? I just want to fucking grapple with somebody, you know? Really get in there.
Sure.
Fucking stretch them, you know? I feel like I go whip some ass.
Really? Well,
People on my level. Like it'll be, I'm a beginner.
Yes.
Maybe one step up from beginner because I'm sort of an ass kicker.
Really?
A little bit. Just
Studying tapes?
In my mind.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I think about all the different times I would whip ass.
Yeah.
And
see, a lot of people think that's enough, and it's really only about punches thrown on real people.
That's
It's the
true.
only way to get good at fighting.
I know, but a lot of times you'll think
You gotta soak a punch.
you give yourself some time to think about what you would do.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, you got to do that first.
Yep. It's all about planning ahead. It's not simply just going wild.
I've always said that. I've always said if you gave me 6 months, I could break a brick with my hand. I've always said that. 6 months. Because that's another thing. You just Google that and find out how they do it. And then, I'm not saying you could do it right away, but like 6 months seems like enough time to like Google it. And I know that the bricks are gimmicked that they use. You know, they're like hot or something, they say. So.
Yeah, they're baked to remove them. They're baked to make them more brittle.
Yeah. So. That's what I was thinking about doing.
All right. Well, I love that for you.
This winter.
I'm
I'm going to turn into an ass kicker. I'm motivated to become an ass kicker this winter. Now it's going to be fucking January, and I'm going to be still walking 12 miles and watching movies all the time. But I hope to join a gym. I think like somebody's got to teach me how to do gym stuff. I think I'm just gonna like the trainer thing, but not like a personal trainer. You know what I'm saying? Mm-mm. Like the guy that teaches you all the stuff.
A personal trainer?
But doesn't sit there with you while you do it because like that's expensive. That's the reason. Isn't there guys that'll teach you this stuff and then come back to you in a month and be like, so how was the stuff I taught you?
Not that I know of. Maybe you know of one. I mean, you could also break a brick in 6 months and already are above a beginner boxer. So I'm not on your level.
One step above. Not even. I mean, don't take that like bragging.
I mean, they have to monitor you. They can't say just throw these 100-pound weights over your fucking head and walk away. Like they have to make sure you know what you're doing. I do think that I have the amount of arrogance that is necessary to work at home, where I will try and practice and watch stuff and work on it. But when I'm unsure about what I'm doing, I really don't want to do it. Like if I don't feel like I'm doing it right, it's like, is this okay? Is this how you do it?
You don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't want to get hurt bad. So yeah, when lifting weights for the first time, I hired a trainer, and that was the best part was that because then I had the answers. Lift the weight like this, it feels like this, and there's no guessing, and you're not listening to some Instagram person that's like in college for kinesiology and it's just like reading their textbooks out loud or something.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of made this decision like last year when you were seeing your trainer. I was kind of like, I think that's the way to go, man, because like I fuck myself up so often. Like I'm just not a guy that doesn't get hurt. I wish I was a guy that doesn't get hurt. Like I've met guys that like Jason doesn't really get hurt. Like he hasn't broken stuff and shit. And like there are people that are just built like I don't get hurt. Me, I get hurt all the time. I'm just a hurting guy, you know?
Yeah.
And if I was lifting, because Katie's always like, why don't you just do kettlebells? And I was like, I'll fucking throw my back out with. I can guarantee you 100% what's going to happen if I do kettlebells. It's going to wreck my back because I'm going to lift with my back or something or fiddle around with it in the wrong way. So yeah, that's been my weekend. I did watch this weird documentary about a cult that this is like the third one I've watched about cults, like a series.
So now you think you're going to start one?
No. It's worse than that. In my mind, I'm like, how does it happen? How do you end up in one? You know? Uh-huh. I can listen to all these people that have been in cults now. 3 separate full series about cults. And I'm like, how do you not start to feel like this is fucking weird, man? Like, how do you not start to be like, dude, like it's this church. It's like a Christian church, this one I watched this stuff about. And I was just like, I mean, how did people get so into being in church? Like it's unfucking believable how much people love church. It's crazy.
God or drugs, like you're either crazy about one of them and they'll ruin your life.
Yeah. Yeah, oof, man, this lady was this new one it's on HBO Max. It's called The Way Down, and this woman came up with a diet that was based on Jesus, but then it like goes way out into like another world, you know.
I think for me it's something I've never met somebody in real life that's been in one, so I don't know if I care. Like that's unfortunate that they're in it, but. I mean, I just think they're like stupid dumbasses.
I mean, you feel bad for people that have been through shit. You know, yeah, you feel bad for people that have been through some serious shit. But as you start watching these things, you start to feel like why don't you just fucking stop going to the church? I I always think that. Why don't you just stop going to the meetings?
I mean, I also stayed in marriage for way longer that I should have just walked away from.
I know,
You just get afraid of what you don't know.
That's
like, you
true.
get comfortable. Like, this is fine. I know how to fit in. I have a place here. I mean, and it's just imagining you're getting rid of your entire life.
This one came up with a situation that was crazy. Like, they came up with a LLC that was it was called like Exodus LLC, and it wasn't like a business that focused on one thing. It focused on everything. So they got doctors, they got dentists, they got piano teachers, they got everything there. And then the people at the church have to use that company to get all their stuff done.
Oh, smart.
So it's just like, you were just like stuck, you were just stuck like there. You didn't feel like there was anything outside of it.
Yeah.
Because you never spoke to anybody on the outside, even though you were free. Like, they were free to like leave. This wasn't one of the ones where they lock people in a building or anything like this. They were just free to fucking go. It was crazy to me. I don't know, man. I think the reason I didn't get caught up in anything like that is because I'm a quitter. Like, I quit that. I'll just quit. I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it a lot. But I don't feel bad about quitting shit either. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, I don't finish it because of that.
I know.
But at least I'm not going to finish like a suicide pact at a call.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to do that.
No, you'd quit. And one last thing before we go to calls, Brett. I think, we all need a round of applause here. A big milestone happened in my daughter's life, Gwen's life. People have been listening to her on here since she was 8. She went to homecoming last night and went to a high school party afterwards.
Oh, fun.
No parents. Booze and drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, look at you. All right. And then I was like, who'd you hang out with? Like, what'd you do? She said, I hung out with the weed people. And I was like, did you have a little bit of weed? And she was like, they were smoking it, so no. And I was like, so she's not gonna smoke weed.
All
like,
right.
Smoke a bowl.
That's a good one. That's a good rule to have.
Yeah, she said it's a bowl. She said the way she said it to me was like they had a bowl, and I didn't like want anything to do with it. But like, I find that like a lot of teenagers don't like to get involved with a bowl because they don't know how to use it anyway. Like, they can be confusing, I guess, to somebody who's never done it before. But yeah, I was very happy. I was very happy to have my kid go to, like, she's never been to one of these parties ever.
Yeah, I mean, freshman is not like, no one shows up as a freshman and is like a social butterfly,
Yeah.
It took time for me too.
Yeah, she's a junior. So she got to 11th grade. But yeah, I think it's real cool. I was real happy for her, man. I mean, she said the dance sucked, and I was like, Gwen, I gotta tell you, dude, all dances suck.
Yeah.
None of them are good.
The TV shows are lying. It's all scripted. It's like Cinderella pornography. It's
It is.
like Disney lies about like Prince Charmings and soulmates and shit. There's none of that is happening at your local fucking gym where you're not allowed to do grind chains.
Actually, that is something that was very funny, that we were in a conversation at dinner, and I was like, so you're not going with anybody? She was like, I have like a person I talk to and stuff like that. And she's like, I think, he might want to dance with me, but like, all people do is grind. And I was like, what? What is this? They're freak. Actually, she said all they do is freak.
Wow, they're that big into the 90s again.
They're freaking.
Okay.
So she was like really fucking nervous about it before she left, because I think she thought she might have to freak. And I was just like, I mean,
practice on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a dude, so like guy freaking is really just standing there.
It's like just riding a horse. You just got to stay on. You got to stay magnetic. You just got to stay stuck and
yeah. So I understand probably being a little bit freaked out about something like that, because yeah, that shit
You should have had like a sign, "Congratulations on your first freak dancing," like
Yeah.
put in the yard.
I don't
Instead
think
of homecoming, just like freak dancing 2022, 21.
I mean, I can't believe they freak dance, and I can't believe like also the other side of it was like the homecoming court was a dude and a girl, and she said like all the kids and all the teachers were like bummed out about it because this was the first year that gender didn't matter on the homecoming court. So she said it was like really deflating when they brought them up there.
I mean, the popular kids are gonna win.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what she said.
You're not gonna reform the vote with diversity.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, the guy that won is like a really popular kid. He won. So yeah, it was very funny. Very funny that she went to a party. That kind of stuff makes me laugh. I trust her. She's a good kid, and is afraid to like do anything. So
That's nice.
you can't be worried about her because she's just like me. She's afraid of everything. Like anything that would make her look silly. Like it's funny when I think about going to parties when I was a teenager and it was like so many people laying on the ground throwing up all over themselves and just making a spectacle of themselves. And I only had that happen like one time, and it was on accident because my friends fucked me up. Like we were hitting this big 6-person bong. It was like this fucking fat, and 6 of us were filling it up, and I don't know what they did. Like, but all of us were filling it up, and then when it came time to clear it, they all fucking took their mouth off the hoses and put their fingers over it, and I breathed in as hard as I could, and stood up, walked 3 steps, fell down, threw up, and then I don't like remember what happened for the rest of the night. And then never did that again. I never became a spectacle. So I feel really happy with myself to have never been a spectacle. Now I make my living as a spectacle. So
Yeah, you learn how to monetize it.
let's take some calls, man. Let's see
Take some calls.
let's see what the listeners are up to.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's Ryan. How you guys doing?
What's up, Ryan? How's it going tonight?
Good, just I-70 westbound coming on the great metropolis of Zanesville, Ohio.
Oh, Brett
Very
spent some
exciting
time there.
for me.
Yeah. Slow down to 55 there.
Into Zanesville already. Yeah, first sign is now, so I'm in the process of doing that. Thank you.
Damn, I
Appreciate
just
that, Brian.
provided a service on the fucking podcast because I hate that shit. Zanesville, it's 70 until you get to Zanesville, then it's 55 and then 70 again. So don't get pulled over
on
there.
from the right. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I just wanted to say, real quick, before I get started here. Earlier, you said when you were growing up, you wanted to be somebody, be something. I just want to say, on behalf of the Street Fight community, you are something, Brian. Not least because you just told me to slow down. Just something.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That was not what I was shooting for.
Yeah.
But, so what's going on, Ryan? What's up?
Right. So there was, I think it was like a couple months ago. I don't know. You guys were complaining about people who come in right before close at restaurants, like 10 minutes or whatever, and think it's the perfect time to have a meal of 6 people or whatever.
Yes, for sure.
So, right. Those people are shitty. I haven't worked in food service, but I have worked retail before, so I have a basic understanding of, clients and how bad that can be. But I think there was a caller last week who touched maybe on this with the bartending thing, which is pretty cool. But what does the food service industry look like, do you think, after we destroy the Constitution and, rebuild everything from scratch? Because it's the people's fault for coming in that close to close, but it's also you're not paying the staff enough. You don't staff enough people. It's not clear. Workers are not disposable and all that. So how do we get at the root of that and make sure that doesn't happen? I guess.
If
you don't mind talking, if you do, that's fine. We can skip it.
I do want to say, I do feel like there is an amount of money where people wouldn't be mad if you came in even 2 minutes before closing. It's just not the amount of money that they pay. And generally, in my experience, people haven't like, in my experience, even if they do come late, it's almost like just don't act entitled about the whole thing when you come in there too. That's all it is. I don't feel like it's always wrong to come in late. I think it's wrong to come in late when people are making $11 an hour and like they're not getting, if you do come in late, you got to tip like an incredible amount of money and stuff like that. Like, I think that's okay. But as far as like how after we get rid of the Constitution and stuff, I tend to believe that like, this is something Brett has said quite often, is that like we just hand over all the restaurants to people who deserve them.
Yeah, my opinion is more one. It would just have to be a conversation, I guess. Like sometimes the grill isn't that fucked up, or you have some things left over you can get rid of. So I should say if someone walks in 5 minutes before close, if you're like, we're about to close, we don't have Alfredo, we don't have this or that, but you can have these items, like if you have to bargain it away, or they just have to say, hey, we already cleaned up everything, we're not making any food for the rest of the night, sorry.
That right there, the honesty of we've already cleaned everything up, we're done.
Yeah.
This place is open. You could even put, if the owners weren't so greedy, on the outside of the door you could put like, we don't make any food after 9:30, we close at 10, but this fucking place is open until 10 for the people who were here before 9:30.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Like, I think it's really about just creating customs, that
people
are better
in that way, right? Probably.
Yeah, it's new customs.
Maybe.
I think is really what we're shooting for. I think when we talk about like, everything going down and obviously people like eating out. I mean, if I had to guess where most of my money goes, it probably goes to restaurants, I guess. I mean, bills, then restaurants. Like, I can't imagine, because I don't have anything new. It's not like I'm running around in like all new stuff all the time. I just fucking, I'm broke, but I do eat pretty good.
Yeah.
So like I think people always want to do that, and I really just think it's like a matter of making it worth it for the people that are doing it, which is just treat people the way that they used to say they treated like factory workers and stuff like that. Have a union, pay them a living wage, have health care, have days off, have paid time off, have all of that stuff. And I think that it is something that could definitely happen. We do not live in a world where nobody wants to work at a restaurant. That, I think, is something that people think. But I know for a fact that there are people that like working in the restaurant industry. It's not like an industry full of everybody who hates it. My sister's a chef and like works with people who like doing it. And there's a lot of people that like being part of that, like kind of fast. It's like kind of a fast lifestyle and stuff like that. And I want people to be fully realized. I just want them to get paid more, really, and benefits. I really think like health insurance is the. I think health insurance is the health insurance and paid time off. I think is what we should really be shooting for.
I like that. If I could work in a red, like it would be interesting. I think I like to cook a lot. I like to be in a kitchen, but one, I've heard the environment sucks and the pay is not good. You don't get healthcare, so like, I mean, there's no incentive for me to want to do that besides personal joy, I guess. But that's not how you really. Yeah, no, it doesn't really work. I think like a lot of people.
I think if you would want to work at a restaurant, the type of thing you look for really is like you're obviously you only get to start at the bottom, but like once you work your way into like sort of fine dining and stuff like that, or even just like the rung below that, you can make a real living doing it. And the people are real professional, and they seem to. My sister, man, she works so many hours a week and seems to love it. Like, it seems like her entire like drive and life is being at this restaurant. So I think there are ways to work at a restaurant where it's good. It's just she also, you know, it was really tough getting there for her, like starting out, you know. So yeah, it is. It's a hard situation to be in. But I mean, it doesn't seem bad. The people are great that work at restaurant. It's the owners that suck.
As always.
Absolutely. Well, be careful out there, Ryan. You know, watch out for the police. You're almost to Columbus.
One, I will.
All
I'll
right.
wave as I go by. One final thing, if I could.
Okay.
Just real quick. Shout out to Bear. I like hearing him every week. I would say keep calling in. I love the stories, if you're listening.
We love Bear, too.
That's about it. Oh, and shout out to Gwen, too. Congrats on her first, big party. That was pretty exciting.
Everybody's excited. Everybody's happy. Have a good night, Ryan.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night. Thank you, guys. Bye.
If you ever do end up in Zanesville, the Museum of Art there is actually pretty good.
Really?
I liked it. They had some modern stuff. It was cool because they had some real, like, what you would think Zanesville would display in their art museum type shit. And then they also had some modern stuff that really fucking blew me away.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to check it out. Loudest fucking rapper. These things are so hard to pull apart.
It's wrapped in firecrackers.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's me. Sorry about that.
It is you.
Hi. I'm going to go. This is Chase in Dallas.
What's up, Chase? How's it going?
Oh, it's going all right. Having some weird sense memories after I went to a shitty dare thing when I was 8 years old that featured a live performance by Police Ice.
Oh.
And had not thought of that man since then until it came back up recently. So
Pretty good rapper he is. He does okay.
He's old. He kicks it old school.
He does. He's a homeboy who became a cop.
It's hilarious because there's actually a video of that thing from like 1992, and it's exactly the same style. He hasn't evolved whatsoever. He is the same guy.
Yeah. Police Ice. What did he speak to your class, or did you just get to go see him in concert, which is always great?
No, it was a thing at the like local park amphitheater. They were doing like a weird dare thing. So I was like, all right, whatever, fine. I'm outside, and even at 8, I was like, yeah, this guy sucks.
You don't have to. And you know what? If people are making fun of you for going to that, let me just explain something. When you're fucking 8 and you see live music, it blows your fucking mind. I didn't get to see live music until I was 10, maybe, in 5th grade, whenever you're in 5th grade. And I saw the cop band that we have in town, Hot Pursuit. And I went fucking bonkers for it, man. I just thought it was the coolest thing I ever heard in my entire life. And it was just because it was like...
Super loud.
Yeah. The first time you hear how loud music can be, you just go nuts. That's just the way it is. I mean... Obviously, Police Ice stinks. But also, I think Police Ice is one of those guys like... Police Ice is one of those guys that does the whole, like... he raps so that he doesn't have to do police stuff. like, I think that's really what Police Ice actually is.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I'm passionate about this because it's just an easy ass job.
Yeah.
And he's the only person in the game doing it.
Yeah, he doesn't ever have to get in a police car and like drive around and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's really what I mean with for years now, right? For fucking years, we had DARE callers call into this thing, and the DARE officers are as dumb and gross and creepy as any other person that people have called about. And it's just like, I think the DARE people, no. Anxiety of the Spectacle in the chat said our cop band in Detroit was called the Blue Pigs.
No,
and there is no way.
They were like a hardcore band or something. Did they proto-punk band?
Yeah. And you said you're in Dallas, right, Chase?
Yeah.
So he travels around. Are you from Austin, or does he travel around the state?
You can't
He was
burn out.
definitely traveling around.
Holy shit!
Yeah, you can't burn out your city. You couldn't do like a Police Ice concert in Austin every single weekend.
I have some news for everybody. The Blue Pigs is real, and I have to apologize to whoever it was. Let me see. I want to apologize to the person in the chat that I said was lying, because it's 100% true. Anxiety of the Spectacle is not lying. The cop band in Detroit is definitely called the Blue Pigs. I am looking at pictures of the Blue Pigs now.
So there's a cop band in every state that just services all the schools.
It has to.
There has to be. We had one. Michigan has one. Texas has one.
Yeah. We need to find out all 50 cop bands now. It's just, and play them on the goddamn show.
Yeah.
Maybe like a countdown, like what MTV used to do on New Year's Eve every year. It's like, all right, and coming in at number 25, the Blue Pigs with drugs. They're bad.
Maybe that'll be our New Year's Eve stream.
Yeah. Drugs. Don't do them. Yeah. I'm looking at a Detroit Pig song now. It's called Fight the Crime. Not a good song. I'm not into that one at all.
I'm thinking like a Public Enemy Fight the Power parody.
Oh my God. Don't say that. Because
Fight the crime.
Fight the crime. You got to fight the crime. That beat. Fight the crime.
Fight the crime. Yes.
I'm Googling it. I'm looking on YouTube to see if we can get some Blue Pigs for Wednesday. So it was good. He was a pretty good rapper and stuff.
Oh no, I even remember at the time thinking that he was pretty bad, and I generally forgot about him until I saw he came back up, and it was like, wow, I had completely forgotten about that. But yes, I saw Police Ice when I was 8.
Yeah, the kids didn't look very excited in those videos that I saw.
Oh no. But I was actually going to call because I got an interesting story of this shitty software place I worked, and just this weird moment of like middle management surveillance that I did not realize, and when I saw it was kind of started to crack open my eyes a little bit, of talking about like basically how banks schedule people as lightly as they humanly possibly can. We worked on this bank software that was, usually for just like transactions, all the normal bank shit that happens in a bank. But there was one area of the software that's like, oh yeah, for some reason we run this scheduling application too. And it's like, why would we run a scheduling application? Like, there's a million things off the shelf that anyone can use. Why are they paying like weird money for this software? And the real answer was that it tied into all the bank's records for like, historically, this is how we think like a Tuesday in the second week of June is going to look like. And so it would suggest hours. And if you deviated from the hours, but you deviated downwards, the software was very much like, you know what, are you sure? Yeah, all right, fine. But if you're like, no, I know we're going to be swamped that day. I need like more people than it says. It would be like, hey, are you sure? And if you were like, yes, I'm sure, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to go tattle on you to like 2 of your bosses. And I'm going to tell them that you're doing this. And it was just astounding to me because it was like, oh, that's why this shitty, like non-functional, like kind of crappy software exists. is not because it's like, oh, useful for them in any real way. It's, oh, this is just a mechanism for telling on when somebody staffs on banks to like reasonable levels.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like banks are, first of all, that bank was a job I wanted when I was younger.
Hell no.
Teen. Like 18, 19, 20, that early part, because I thought it was like the best job you could get because of hours, banker's hours, you know?
Okay.
And, you know, you have in your mind that they pay well, although I don't know what they pay. But, you know, when you do think about it, there are not a lot of people ever working in the bank when you go there. I haven't been to a bank in a really long time. But the staffing levels at banks are sort of low usually, and people have to wait in line. And, you know, that squares with all the stuff I know about how call centers work, too. Is you got to staff it so that there's no possible way you could get all the work done, so that nobody's sitting there and doing nothing. But
Exactly.
I love bank. I wanted to work at the bank so bad. Also thought I would figure out a way to steal money.
I never wanted to have a job where I wore a tie.
You wear ties at the bank?
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, your little scrawny ass and like a big billowed out, ill-fitting shirt with the tie hangings. Yeah, you would have looked great.
Why do I feel like it was polo and like?
That's what it is now.
khakis?
They used to be fake back in the '90s. I feel like when I was a kid, like they were fake as fuck. Like they acted like they were business centers. I guess they were because people did actually have to go there.
Yeah,
you couldn't just go online.
Yeah, you had to like go into the bank. I would go to the bank and be so scared every time because.
My mom worked at a bank. I grew up in a bank hiding under the fucking counters while my mom did her job all day, like during the summer.
Okay.
And she wore like she wore shoulder pads and shit. And her boss had a suit on all the fucking time. And they seemed so stuffy to me.
They probably were forced to be stuffy because they were like, people are going to come in here. They want you to be serious.
Only the stuffy survive at the bank is what I'm saying.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. I just thought the bank paid like $40,000 a year, you know, like
we were broke as fuck.
Yeah, the stuffy attitude always seemed also like that thing of like, shit, all bosses do this, of like, if the wrong person walks by at the wrong time, that they want to have the image right. So it's like, that person was only in slacks and a polo, and our mega client came in and he thinks we're slacking off now. Like the same way it'd be like, hey, the regional manager was in here and he saw you like leaning and not cleaning. It's just the same thing, but it's, you know, bigger scale.
God, you just sent me right down a path of anxiety of the our regional manager saw you. Hey, Brian, the regional manager was here. Brian, Greg Piper walked by your truck in the parking lot and it was a mess. And then he checked and the doors were unlocked. Oh, yeah. God, I got in trouble that was like a whole morning one time. I thought I was going to get fucking fired.
Yeah, you nailed it. Also, it's like, yeah, men have to wear their jackets when they get up from their desk, and nobody does it until like Lorraine Boffman comes for 1 month and someone sees her. She sees them, and then now your ass is getting roasted.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and do you think a customer ever probably fucking came in and got mad because a motherfucker was like, his tie was tied
Grandmas.
wrong?
Some of them grandmas used to get mad about crazy shit.
Grandmas do get mad.
Oh, I told you I saw that lady at Max and Irma's that was complaining that her meal took 25 minutes. Did I tell you that?
No.
Oh, I was waiting in line to get soup, and this woman comes up and she goes, I've been waiting for my food for 25 minutes. It's ridiculous. She was pissed.
25 minutes?
I know, and it's like, what are you going to do? You've been at your house all fucking day. You came here during dinner time. Everybody's at dinner right now. Why is this such a big deal that you're sitting at a table for 25 fucking minutes? Someone's making food for you.
Make your own food.
Do you hate your company that much? Is your husband that awful?
Yeah. Probably.
Pretty much.
I mean, they probably sit across from each other and don't talk, dude.
Right. Yeah. They just stare and hum or twiddle thumbs or bite their lips or just, yeah.
They're stoic.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But then as soon as she was up there complaining, the woman came out and was like, with the food. Her server came out with the food.
That's always like, I mean, because her server had to go in and yell at everybody in the kitchen too, you know, or the food was ready.
It was ready.
She was just fucking around.
She just casually walked out and was like, "Oh, that's my and she was like, "Ma'am, your food's ready." Like she had no idea what was going on.
25 minutes.
25 minutes. You're in trouble. You're in big trouble with grandma.
So I got to this place. I sat down for 25 minutes and I'm not eating already. Is such an unrealistic expectation to have that, oh God, I would have went nuts on that grandma, Brett. I would have gone crazy on her.
Yeah.
I've been known to do it, so, you know. Well, thanks for calling. It's good to hear from you. Peace.
All right. Have a good evening. Have a good
You
show.
too.
Good show.
You too. God damn, 25 minutes, dude.
Yeah, it was surprising. I was like watching, and then because her face looked so nasty, like just like was so scrunched up, and she was stewing, and I'm like, "What's this lady saying?" And then I could hear she was like, "I've been waiting 25 minutes," and like my jaw dropped. I was like, "25 minutes? I mean, I can't whip together a meal in 25 fucking minutes."
Right. Yeah.
Especially there, like I said, it was like 5:30.
Okay. Yeah.
It was the full restaurant.
Yeah. You can't. You can't. And everything's understaffed now.
I've waited 25 minutes at a drive-thru before.
I know. Me too. Me too.
25 minutes is when you complained at a drive-thru.
Go to fucking White Castle, man.
Yeah.
Like, go sit in a White Castle drive-through sometime, man. It'll fucking teach you a whole new way of thinking about waiting.
Oh yeah.
Fucking longest time, man. That place. That is not fast food.
Oh, I know. I think when I was leaving here, I drove to the one on Henderson, and the line was like into the fucking streets, out the road. People had hazards on, so no one would slam into them. And I drove like 20 minutes in the opposite direction just to go to one on 161, and it was just as fucked up. And I'm like, nope, I'm not waiting at all.
No, you don't want to get involved in a White Castle line,
Yeah,
dude.
because you're gonna get someone is gonna come from another car. There's gonna be
Yes, you will be talking to other people in the line, and
someone will throw up.
somebody will honk. Somebody will come to your car and say, "Can you believe this is taking so long?" It'll be like a whole bunch of different situations.
Someone tries to bum a cigarette.
Yep, it's just too much in line at the White Castle. You don't want to fuck around with that.
It's like a heavy metal parking lot out there.
They take so long. I remember back in the day.
Tailgating, yeah.
Well, I remember back in the day we used to go to this Dairy Queen in a neighborhood we grew up at. And one time we went there and, we're waiting for fucking ever at this Dairy Queen, right? And they're like, God, we're teenagers. And we're like, what's taking so long, And they're like, actually, Dairy Queen is not fast food. It's brazier.
Oh, really?
And I said, okay. I guess.
Okay, Brazier.
You got me there. It's a brazier restaurant.
Oh, this isn't your typical fast food. We're at a brazier.
That's not, don't expect it fast. This is a brazier.
That's a really good response, though, because it just confuses the shit out of people.
Hey, look, this happened when I was like probably 15, and I still think about it. So, yeah.
All right. Next call.
Yeah, go for it.
Thanks for calling Street Fight.
Hi. Am I on?
Yep, this is you. What's up? Who's this?
Hey. Oh, this is Nathan, he, him, calling from Oregon.
What is up, Nathan? How's it going tonight?
Oh, going all right, I was just calling to issue some thanks to Brett because I separated from my wife year and a half ago and had been kind of moping around, and then just kind of hearing Brett get out there, inspired me to get out there myself.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, takes a while. It takes however long it takes, but you don't have to go back to it. It's better on the other side now. That's what I've been.
Yeah, man. I got super fortunate with July. Well, yeah, just I'm sure we all experienced that brief respite of the low COVID numbers in July when people could actually get out and do shit for the summer. So I was actually able to get out and date for a little bit then.
Nice.
That's awesome. How's it been so far?
Well, as as good as that can go, but being out there is better than moping.
I agree, and it's always funny situations. There's always, you realize how bizarre people can be. Also, I think it's good practice for It's good practice for boundary settings and stuff too, where like you can just say to somebody straight up, "Hey, like I think you're cool, and I'd love to still be a part of your life, but like not romantically. Like there's nothing going on there in the future, you know." And it's good to kind of figure out what you like or how you want things to be. The only way to get it done is just to do it.
Ain't nothing
Dude,
to it.
Oh man, I got so totally like wrapped up in this one Tinder date because I did my social media research on them and found out that we were like on the same career path and all that shit, and then went on a couple of dates with them, which is like, I want to make this work out of it being so fucking long since anything's happened, but this ain't fucking happening. Like, yeah, you just gotta get used to that.
Yeah, it's great. But having crushes is like the best thing in the world. Like just fucking in my heart, like just rolling around on the bed, like kicking my heels, giddy, thinking like I just met my soulmate, and then like you wake up the next day and you're like, well, that was too crazy. But it's still fun to have like the butterflies about somebody, even if they go away.
Fuck yeah.
I know it. Yeah, it's like been very rejuvenating, and so I kind of wanted to like on top of that go a little further because I like am super tight with my ex. We like co-parent super well. We're super tight. And I don't know how you are with Erica and all of that, but like I feel like I'm getting a little. It scares off potential oncomers that I'm that tight with my ex. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to turn this into a love line, but
I like it.
I don't know. I don't know if you deal with that or how you deal with that.
I guess what is how tight? Like, are y'all texting all day?
I mean, we basically like our parenting time is all at her place just because of our like living situation.
Okay.
And and we're obviously texting all day because we got to do fucking extracurriculars and all that.
What do you mean by the parenting?
Yeah,
is at her place?
and it doesn't help that are like. Well, like we live. She works at a farm, and we like live on so the kids get this like awesome experience of like living on a farm, being over there, as opposed to like, I don't want the kids at my bachelor pad. I mean, granted, they're welcome here, but like. I want them to experience their living situation on the where they are at their mom's house is like so much richer, and so I just basically do all my parenting time over there. Plus, I get like the benefits of farm vegetables and all of that, and that's like also my social circle too.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that does sound like you are pretty interconnected. Me and Erica are separate, but like I have Charlotte for a week by myself, and Erica has Charlotte for a week by herself. And the house that we bought was like fucking magical and is amazing and all that stuff. But she'll be fine staying at my like stupid ass bachelor pad. It's really it's the amount of time and attention and alone time that I have with her that is like the good part. It doesn't really matter if it's like a storybook. It doesn't like the surroundings. No, the surroundings or the environment you're in does not matter as much as like the time and attention from your parents. Like that's the number one things that matters. If that's all your social circle and stuff too, I mean, I don't know. It does sound like you're pretty entangled with each other. So if it's a problem and you want to fix it, maybe if you can see if there's other ways to create some more separation. But I also tell everybody what my situation is. Like me and Erica, we're going to do a Halloween party together. And
yeah, that's what I mean. That's where we're at too. But it's just like it's not so much like it's not a I guess it's not a problem for me. It's it's a problem for people who are for potential suitors who say you're still in with your, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's I don't know. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, the right person will understand.
Yeah.
I would say the right person will understand. I just think the right person will understand. And like, if you're with somebody and they have a child and they want to make sure that there's a good relation, the parents of that child have a good relationship. Because I tell everybody I date, I'm like, I'm not looking for a stepmom. Like, I don't really want you to be, I don't really need someone to step in with your crazy ass ways of thinking about how to raise my kid.
That's exactly where I'm at too. Yeah.
So maybe in the future, maybe things change 5 years from now, but like, yeah, for the most part, like I do have like this family life that I spend half my time on it's still in a way connected with Erica and Charlotte, you know, as she's growing up. So other divorced people are usually more understanding, I've found, and they have way more crazier fucking circumstances. Like, they're like, oh, my ex tried to stab me with a knife. And I'm like, okay, well, we have a different scenario going on here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other problem, too. But yeah, oh, my God. I just wanted to thank you, Brett, for getting me back out there and relay some of the like co-parenting struggles that us street fighters having out there.
Good luck with it. Thanks for calling.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I talk to a lot of people is there's a few people I know that are dragging their feet where like in June, I was like, you have to get out of the house and you have to have separate lives because this like 1 foot in, 1 foot out is miserable. There's no way to properly make everybody happy. This is a sad thing that happens. A part of your relationship has to die. You know, like something has to go away. You can't be up each other's asses and your kid needs to be alone with you, you know.
For sure, yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Be a parent. You got to do the parenting.
But at the same time, yeah, I mean, like, if somebody doesn't understand, like...
Fuck them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It is weird to think that somebody would just be like, you spent time with this person, you have a kid with this person, all your friends are friends with this person, I don't want you to be around this person.
Yeah.
It's a very odd, like, thing to do. It's like, I'm not going to, like, remarry her. It's not going to fucking happen. So, I mean, what's the big fucking problem?
I know. It's like you're crossing the line of, like, am I supposed to say the worst things about my ex to this person?
Yes.
And complete bitch about them constantly and how much I hate them to prove that to you? Because that makes me feel like a huge jerk off.
Yeah. It makes you look like a dick. I mean, I think, like, it's that thing about job interviews where you're not supposed to say bad shit about the company you left. You know, you're not supposed to motherfuck your old boss or say that like they fucked you over because like I don't know, I haven't dated in a very long time, but if I was dating somebody and they were like Mark's, I would just think that if like I'm dating somebody and they talk about their ex that way, it wouldn't just necessarily to me mean that their ex was a pain in the ass. It would also maybe mean that they might also be a pain in the ass and might say the same shit about me on down the road.
Yeah.
You know?
If you end up reacting the same way to their pain in the ass shit.
Yeah. But I mean, even then too, it's like everybody's a fucking pain in the ass. I mean, other humans are a pain in the ass because they do things that you can't control.
That's the part about dating is like you're opening the door for like the raccoons and the mice and shit to come inside to your domesticated like little life, and they can run roughshod on everything. They'll tear up the whole fucking house. That's the other thing too about like the date apps and all of that is it's related to Gwen's thing about, oh my gosh, Homecoming wasn't like amazing. there was a lot of people that still form most of their ideas of relationships on TVs or like dramatic shit that happened in their life that is then in TVs and movies. And like you still see a lot of the soulmate stuff or like looking for my Mr. Right and all of that. And it's just like such a antiquated out concept. You know, it's just so outdated that you are just going to happen upon somebody like that. You're just going to swipe through, and then like the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams or non-binary person of your dreams is just going to be there. And then you get into this things like, well, men and women can't be friends. And it's like, yes, they can. There's lots of women that I do not want to have anything romantic going on, but I like hanging out with them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely like the men and women can't be friends thing is crazy because
that's what it is too.
Yeah, and you know, you really have to also think of it like, you know, people also get their ideas about foreign policy from TV.
Yeah,
and they get their ideas about like the government from TV.
True.
Or about like how other people live from TV. Like TV. There are a lot of people who think that what's happening inside that TV is ripped from the headlines. You know what I mean? It's like you're watching like the Goldbergs or something. And you're like, that's fucking what it was like when I was in a family when I was, you know, in the 80s. And it's like, no, it wasn't, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It was 90% boring, and then somebody was yelling at you most of the time.
Yeah.
Let's take another call.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hello?
What's up?
Hey,
Hello.
yeah, hey,
What's
I'm
up?
quick 'cause I'm at work. What? Yeah, it's funny. The was up thing. I just listened to that first episode of Movie Cinematic Universe when you guys were talking about that.
Of course, WhatsApp is great.
That's something that
funny.
should come back. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
should
was
come
nice.
back. That's a great way to answer the phone.
It's number one best.
What's up? What's up?
Those guys
This is Matt.
What's up,
This is
Matt?
from South Bend. I'll leave it up to you. When I called in and I thought, try to make it topical, so we could do either a tax scare that I just recently had. I had an idea of asking you all about your first car accidents, and I can talk about mine real quick, or maybe it was some like shithole boss story. I don't remember the third one, but I'm leaning towards that accident one.
Yeah, I'm afraid of taxes, so I would say the accident one. My first accident was
I thought, man, yeah.
in a car with like 7 people, maybe 5. I don't know. There were way too many of us in the fucking car, and a guy rear-ended us. And I fucking
Were you driving?
Nope, I was a passenger. And I fucking went home and was like, you know, I was in a car accident, like telling my parents, like, because, I've been through some shit. And then they were like, you know, we drove by a car accident, and I had a feeling in my soul that somebody I knew was in that accident. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, it might not even been that accident.
You got your ass. I already knew that.
Yeah, but I did. I bragged about being in a car accident because I had never been in one. I couldn't believe that I was in one.
Yeah, people do say shit like that, right? Like right after, like, you know, like they, I knew that. I felt that. I felt that. So much. You know what? Mercury is in retrograde. Like shit like that. Like, I knew something weird was gonna happen.
I felt it in my soul that you were going to get in a
You
car
always be
accident
like-
with somebody you shouldn't have been in a car with, who was, you know, you were smoking weed with. Like it was a mess.
Oh, well,
what
yeah.
happened?
7
I've been in a
people, that's a
few.
lot.
I've been in a
Except
few
the clown
pretty
car.
wild ones. Yeah, I've been in a few pretty wild ones. So, yeah.
Yeah, you end up being like somebody's third. Oh, that was a third thing. That was a bad things come in threes, and that's a third thing. So, you know.
Have you been in? What was your first accident, Brett? You hit anything?
Yeah.
That I was driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the first car I hit was. The first accident I remember was I was driving to work at the toy store. Yeah, I was like 16. I had the Camaro, and I used to go behind Meyer, and I decided to gun it and spin my tires out, and I went flying, like spinning, and I slammed into a stop sign. And my car, the rear end of my car was laying on the stop sign.
And you couldn't drive
off
away?
Yeah, I got out, I looked at it, and then I kept giving it gas, and then it got squirrely, and then it just slammed all the way to the ground, and I drove to work, and it was fine. There was a huge fucking dent on the side of my car, though.
Yeah, the first one I was driving in was when I was working for Insight. I was in my work van.
Oh shit!
And I was backing out of a spot, and the car like stopped and it wouldn't fucking go. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I I gunned it because I was in reverse, and when I got out, my car was basically on top of like a classic Corvette Stingray. And the guy that owned it...
Oh, shit. You monster trucked it.
Yeah. And the guy that owned it came outside. Two guys, he's drinking a fucking Budweiser. There's these two guys that have probably been sitting in the house drinking all fucking day. And the guy's like, that's all original parts on that thing. Oh. And, another guy's standing next to him like, I'd fucking kick his ass if I was you. So I just get in my van, lock all the doors, and call my supervisor so he can come and take care of it. And, woo! That one was bad. That actually happened on 9/11/2002. Remember the date?
So yeah, he had a new 911.
So you weren't older. So you didn't get in an accident in a car that you were driving in until how long were you driving before that happened?
2002. I would have been like 23 or something. I didn't get my license until I was like 22. So I didn't really drive till I was
that
like
makes
22.
More sense. I was like, how'd you get through 7 or 8 years, man?
I
No
also,
accidents. That would be impressive.
in mine, I ripped the muffler off too. That's what I remember is that when I drove away, the car was super fucking loud because it had no more muffler
I hate that.
on it anymore.
Oh, I hate it when something happens in your car
Why
and
do
then the next thing you know, it's loud.
It's just loud.
Feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's a bad feeling.
There's nothing like the sound of hitting something inside the sound that your car makes when you hit something when you're on the inside of it. There's no other, you feel the vibrations coming through the chassis. You feel feel everything at once. It's just like your world drops beneath you.
Yeah,
And
your
then
body knows.
the loud. Now it wasn't loud, but now it's loud. There's a rattle now. Now there's a weird rattle and it shimmies a bit or something. Yeah, that's interesting that both of you gunned it. Why is our first response to button mash our way out of a problem like that? I don't get it, but it's so true.
Yeah, that's all you can do is get away. I think it's just end it. For me, it's just
I get away.
Do
yeah,
it.
Gotta get away. Gotta get away.
If it blows up, either it blows up or I get away. I'm not going to sit here and try to do some mathematics to get out of this or try to think my way through it. I'm just going to
right.
Just going to stab off.
You're Indiana Jones. You're Indiana Jones halfway through the bridge, and it breaks down, and now it's just full speed. Now it's just going to be full speed. You got to make it to the other side.
I just thought something happened
So
where
I
had the emergency brake on or something like that, but instead I was crunching a car.
Oh my God. I put a car in reverse at 30.
Yeah.
That made a wild sound.
Yeah, that was a common.
Then it was leaking transmission oil and it was black. That killed that car.
Yeah.
My first accident was a lot like Brian's when he was in the car and I was driving and I had my license for all of 30 days and I was driving with all of my friends, of course, when it was definitely illegal to do it. And then I pulled out in front of I had a stop sign and I pulled out and it was just a two-way stop. So the other car luckily just hit the front quarter where my wheel is. And I spun off to the side and fucked my shit up and it ended up being an off-duty cop.
Oh, shit. What did you do?
Yeah.
Did he act like
shit.
a fucking
It was
asshole about it?
11:30. I was like, my full body response was just to immediately like flop sweat and start shaking violently because I was so petrified because I knew I was pretty much fucked. So it's hard to remember. I mean, it was pretty much just like, I just turned into like, my go-to is like, admit that I'm wrong. I fucked up. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be driving like this. I'm a piece of shit. It was just like all of these things all at once. And so I don't really remember what his reaction was to me. He was just like, I don't remember him being a dick or anything. I mean, he was just like, it seems like he was coming home off of work or something because he was in his uniform. I remember that.
Oof.
But he was driving like a minivan. And, then my friends were in a car behind me. They went through the intersection, came back and picked up the friends that were in my car. I drove home really shittily, like it could barely drive. And then I was like, no, guys, you go have fun without me because I've been in a car accident. I have to go home now. I can't do anything else for the rest of the night.
My night is
even
ruined.
though I 100% probably could have.
Yeah, no. People think you have to
ruined
end
it.
the day.
I'm done. I got to go home.
People think you have to end the day when something bad happens. You don't. Like, actually, you don't have to end the day. The day could go on. You could fucking go to the movies if you want to after something bad happens.
Fuck that car.
Yeah.
It was like 11. Yeah, it was like 11:30 at night or something. Like I can't remember. It was fairly late, but yeah, it was like I remember another time. Like my dad caught me and my friend smoking weed, and he was just like, my friend was like, so Matt, we should probably just go now. Like we should probably just leave where we're at, and get in like a car and just leave instead of. No, same thing. I was like, no, you go. I'm gonna be here and have my dad be mad at me. I'm not gonna go away. I'm just gonna take this punishment and sit here and be high and lay in my bed and just think about what I've done. So stupid. But yeah.
I love that. I love that. It is funny to think about, like, you get into a car accident, nobody's hurt, but you're like, I gotta go home and sulk for the rest of the night. Instead of just being like, fuck it, let's go out, let's get fucking crazy. It's like when we were kids.
Right.
When I was a teenager, me and my buddies would, we would drive around and just smoke weed. Like every Friday night, we would just go out. We would drive around and smoke weed, which means that sometimes you're going to get pulled over and the cops are going to bust you. And maybe they're going to catch you with weed. Maybe they won't find the weed. You never know what's going to happen. But every fucking time we got busted, every time, as soon as we pulled away from the cop, we were like, fuck, let's smoke some fucking weed. Yeah, we got to smoke some weed. We got to get some more weed.
I'm stressed.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah. If you make it through that moment on the other side, then it's like you feel like you just like skirted, you just made it past, the, I don't know, maybe the railroad tracks like coming down and you just get through and the other suckers have to wait behind. You feel great.
Hiding, I mean, also
like
though,
that.
when it's a bunch of
people,
it's also like maybe one person has an eighth, one person has maybe a joint on them, one person has, like, everybody has like just a little bit on them. And if one person gets caught, I mean, if you're a teenager and you get caught, at least back when I was a kid, they dumped it out on the ground and just, told you to go fuck off, go home. But like, man. One time we were standing in this park we used to go to get high, that was like kind of really hidden off the road. There was almost no possible way a cop would ever come there. And we bought a 1/4 ounce of weed and we went to the park. And I had teen court at 6 o'clock. I had to be at teen court, which was where I had gotten in trouble. I had to go to court where I would have to act out a role as part of teen court for 5 weeks after. So I'd be a lawyer 1 week. I'd be a bailiff 1 week. And that was like teen court was just a thing I had to do. I'm hanging out with my friends at this park and we're smoking weed and we're just like, I think we bought a 1/4 and we were like, let's smoke this whole fucking thing. Let's roll up multiple joints and there was like 5 or 6 of us, and we passed them at the same time. So these joints are just going around in circles, right? And I'm fucking high as shit. I am so fucking high. And I'm like, make sure you get me home by 5 o'clock because I have to be at teen court at 6 o'clock, right? And we're there. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And my friend is like, all my friends decided to tell me it was 4:45. And I fucking spiraled so bad. And they were like, dude, we're not going to be able to get you home. We're not going to be able to get you home in time to go to teen court. I know, it's fucked up. And I'm fucking almost like crying because I'm like, oh my fucking God. You know, because my dad can't get a hold of me. My parents have to take me to it. And I'm fucking like, I don't know what to fucking do. And then fucking after about 15 minutes of me just totally losing my shit, they were like, nah, dude, it's like, you still got 2 hours.
Well,
wow.
But the cops had come while we were there. And they dumped out all of our weed and called us piss ants and sent us home. So that kind of sucked. But what are you going to do?
Piss ants.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, he deserved it, man. I mean, yeah.
We get called piss. I got called a piss ant like 100 times. Like I remember one time I was smoking a cigarette in the locker room that the football players used at school, and the gym teacher came in and said, "Don't fucking smoke in here, you little piss ant," and kicked me out. And I was
Little
like,
piss ant.
yeah, I was a piss ant. What do you want me to do? Well,
Man.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Well,
I gotta get going. So
next time something bad happens,
good. I'm glad.
just fucking rally.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Next time something bad happens, rally
Yeah.
for the rest of the night. That's what you got to do, baby. Have a good night.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as long as we got to keep spreading the good messages to all the youths.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Later, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. God, that day, man. That might have been the genesis of my anxiety. I'm going to say that that day was the day my anxiety actually began. Which isn't true because I was afraid we were going to get killed in nuclear war when I was like 7 for like the whole part of my life. But like, yeah, I have never felt the anxiety I felt in that moment because I was so high off of fucking dirt weed that I think there were 6 of us and 6 joints. I don't even know why we fucking passed them, but we were just passing them in a circle. I don't know why. I do have to say this. Why was I smoking weed before I had to go to court? Like, what a fucking stupid thing that I was doing.
You're a kid.
Yeah, I got to be at court in 2 hours. Well, I'll just smoke a little weed. I'm going to be fine in 2 hours. Oh, okay. We can take the next call.
Yeah, we got a lot of calls left.
Oh, we got a lot?
Yeah.
Look at us go.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Lucas in Connecticut. How are you guys tonight?
What's up, Lucas? How's it going tonight?
Doing all right. I was playing this. It's a game like Overcooked. It's a fast food game, but instead of fast food, it's moving. You're moving furniture and shit.
Oh, Brett turned me on to Overcooked, but it's a moving game. Jason, did you know there's a moving video game? I did not. Brett, check your Twitter DMs real quick. I sent you something. I want you to see it. What's up, Lucas? What's going on tonight?
Not a lot. So I was just playing that game while I was waiting to chat, and before that, I was actually playing with Lonnie's dusty-ass Sega Saturn. We played some Jackbox, and they were playing Among Us before that. So hung out with some Street Fighters via Discord tonight.
I love Jackbox. I mean, I do love to jack off too. I'm not going to lie and say I don't love that too. But Jackbox, I'm a big Jackbox guy.
Yeah, they're some fun games. What
the problem with Jackbox?
But I called in.
Can I tell you what the problem with Jackbox is?
What's up? What's the problem with Jackbox?
The problem is that like when you play with people that aren't like maybe clued into like kind of comedy or like what's going on, the one that always wins is like fart, poop, piss, or shit. That's how you win. You just type in like oh, fart, and then everybody's like, ah, fart. You know, I try to like do like greasy titties or something funny like that, like something bigger than fart. But yeah. All right, what's up? Everybody's making fun of me in the chat because I said jack off.
I mean, you kind of walked into that one.
I agree. All right, what's up, Lucas?
On Wednesday's show, you guys were talking about the flag burning ceremonies and stuff, and burning flags. I have a flag burning story.
Tight.
Awesome.
So,
we love those.
Prior to the pandemic, so there's only like 3 organizations that are like officially or whatever supposed to retire flags, and it's active duty military, VFWs, and the Boy Scouts of America. And I was a scout leader pre-pandemic, and during one of our campaigns.
Can I ask you? So so basically, can veterans do it that aren't in the VFW? Like if you're somebody that was in. If you're somebody that was in the military but is no longer in the military but is also not part of a VFW, can you do it?
Technically, I don't think you're supposed to. It might be active or retired military, but I'm pretty sure it's just active, VFW, and Boy Scouts.
Oh,
and,
I'm excited.
no one's going to jail for burning a flag if they're not. I mean, you could definitely call people out on it.
I don't think my father-in-law's in a VFW. He is a veteran, but I don't think he's in a VFW. And he didn't go to a foreign war or anything. He's a fireman on a base. But he does dispose of flags.
He's breaking the law.
Now that you say it wasn't, it might be American Legion instead of VFW. Is he part of a Legion?
I don't think so. He doesn't ever talk to other humans, ever.
Well, then he's not a patriot.
That's interesting. Now I'm gonna my family's going over to their house like next weekend or the week after that. Maybe I'll go now and just be like, I heard you've been, disposing of flags you're not supposed to.
Desecrating that grand old flag.
Yes.
Well, so we had when a Boy Scout troop exists, people know that they take flags, so they get like just random ratty old flags get dropped off, but they're all made out of plastic. And you're supposed to like cut out the blue field and then cut the strips into pieces and like ceremoniously and respectfully burn it. But when you have a bunch of kids that are like being told that they're allowed to burn this stuff, they like it just quickly becomes like a polyester like molten pile. And for like half a second, as these kids were all like excitedly, the kids were all like throwing shit on, super excited and like really into it. And for a second, I was like, "Hey, yeah, keep going. You're good." Like for half a second, I thought about correcting and like letting them know they're doing it wrong, but I was like, "Nah, fuck it, have fun, go for it."
I mean, nobody does it. You know what I mean? Like here's what I'm gonna say. Nobody disposes of it right, except for like this. There's like a 1% of the 1% of people that have a flag. Everybody else fucking throws it in the trash.
And I mean, the thing wasn't created ceremoniously too. Like that's a big point too. Is that this is not really a sacred like religious item. It's a mass-produced piece of shit plastic.
It is funny that it's polyester.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some older flags that are like to a cloth, but since like the mid '90s, they're just all plastic. And yeah, I for half a second I was like, "Hey, you're doing it wrong," but then I was like, "Nah, let them have fun." But yeah, the flag and like America's fetishization of the flag is so fucking weird.
What if can I ask this question? Is Flag Day meant for you to get rid of your flags? Or is that a day to get a new flag? Because now I'm reading the City of Columbus's flag disposal page. And they said like, so there's a flag disposal page on our city website. Every day it is important to respect our great nation's flag. During Flag Day, it is important to remember to properly and respectfully dispose of a flag that becomes faded, torn, or weather-beaten.
So you just check on your flags? You just check in on them?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're frayed and tattered.
Yeah.
You gotta go burned up.
And it's funny, too, when you think about it, dude, because they're talking about, like, you need to dispose of it if it's frayed or tattered. And I swear to you on my life, I get... And you know what? Even in that video that we played from PragerU Kids on the Basement Show this week, I get, like, ads almost every day when I'm reading news articles and shit on the internet for these, like, dirty-looking shirts that have American flags all over them. I can't remember what the name of the brand is, but I see them all the fucking time. And then I Googled it one time, and I heard that they're, like, real shitty stuff, but they look like dirty, tattered flags. I thought... Here's my thing. If I was a flag guy into the American flag, I would prefer a tattered one.
Really?
It's like a better look than the
Distressed?
regular flag. Yes. I think it is. I think it's a better look than the old boring, it's all put together flag. You know? That's just me. I like distressed stuff, though. Oh, yeah. Article 2 of the flag code or whatever says you can't wear flags, but the chuds and libs put it on everything.
My super Republican ass uncle, who's like 81, he was like, you know, one problem with the modern Republican Party is when I was a kid, you would never, ever wear a flag. You would never. That was unspeakable. That was for rebels and renegades and hippies and bikers. We would never, ever do anything but fly the flag. He was like so dead serious about how disgusted he was with American flag socks. Because he was like, I've seen American flag socks with sandals. People walk around like it's not a problem, just walking all over the flag.
Bo Problemo in
They
the
make
chat
American
said...
flag napkins.
They do. They actually do. Bo Problemo in the chat said Brian buying an American flag at the Buckle. That's where I get my American flags. It's a fucking good one. Psychic Gasoline says it's disrespectful to J.O. on an American flag. I don't know. There's nothing really in the flag code about that.
It's a tribute to our nation's honor.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, there's nothing in the flag code about wiping your ass with it or jacking off into it. So,
just wearing it.
Yeah. But if you're a Boy Scout, you can burn it. I can't wait to find out if my father-in-law...
Oh, you can all burn them. You can burn all of them.
That's true. I can't wait to find out if my father...
I'm going to say you can all burn them.
If my father-in-law is burning flags illegally, I'll be so happy. I'll be really mean to him about it. But thank you for calling. That is I like that. I like the Boy Scouts are burning flags out there.
This is neat. Making big balls of plastic.
Yeah.
Doing what they got to do.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a good night. Do the call.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Yeah, I'm watching, like, they do a whole thing, Brett. How to properly dispose. This is a website for the Defense Department. And there's a picture, and they have, like, the flags folded in that way that it says in the video.
Football?
Yeah, like paper football. And they're, like, with no red showing.
Right.
And they're dropping it into what looks like a crummy fire pit. And they're, like, lined up in a line. So each person has a flag. They walk up, drop it in the fire pit, move back on, and get in line while other guys stand and salute the fire pit. It's ridiculous looking.
What does this accomplish?
I mean, you just, Brett,
You can't throw it in the trash?
you throw it in trash. Trash touches the ground.
Yeah, I mean, just like an American flag in a landfill doesn't seem like that disrespectful to me.
I think it seems fine. I think burning it's more environmentally good. Let's just go with that. Like, for the environment, burning it is better than throwing it in a landfill. Although it probably biodegrades fast. I don't know. Let's get another call in here.
It's polyester. It does not. It takes forever. Let's see. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bear.
What's up, Bear? How's it going tonight?
Man, it's going pretty well. I can't complain. It's been going pretty well for me recently at Chili's, and everything else has been fine, like socially wise. So I mean, it's been pretty great.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. What's up this week, Bear? How's it going? Or I know how it's going. What's up?
All right. So I was gonna talk about my experience working at a Stars and Strikes.
What's Stars and Stripes?
Do you guys have those in Ohio?
No. Nope.
I guess not. Okay, so it's a it's a bowling alley corporation. Like it's a chain for bowling alleys and arcades.
Bear, I got to tell you something before we move on here. You have had some of the worst jobs of any I mean, like, I really respect what you've been through. I don't know if that means that you just, like, burn through jobs, or if that means that you're just like, I want to work at every shitty place in the whole world.
Well, what it means is, what keeps happening is, I've had parents that just really wanted me to get a job as soon as I could. So, like, right when I was 16, I started working, and I'll keep a job for about 6 months, and then I'll get mad, and I'll be like, oh, I'm tired of this, F all y'all, and I'll leave. And then the only place that'll hire me is another really bad job.
That's a good, I mean, hey, you know, though, if you understand, like, what's going on, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, it seems like you know, it's like, I'm not going to fucking put up with this shit. I think, like, for me, it's even, like, I don't ever want to get in that situation where I have a job where I feel like I can't get the fuck out of it. So, I'm with you. They got augmented reality bowling.
Well, I mean, like... Oh my God, we never had that.
Oh, wait.
People... Okay, so what it is...
Go ahead.
We put these projectors up, like, above the lanes, and it goes down on the lanes, and you can play, like, different games with the like projector on the lane, and like scans where the ball is and stuff. Yeah. But we never had it at our location, and people would get so mad about it. They'd come in and ask for it. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that." And they just like start yelling at me, like, "Well, why don't you?" Like, I don't know, man. Our managers won't order it, I guess.
They only have it at one of them. Because I'm looking at the page for augmented reality bowling. It says available at, and it just says Concord, North Carolina. There's a lot more places, but they're advertising it on their site. It's like, well, I guess if you're in Concord, North Carolina, this is great. But if you're somewhere else, it's, not going to happen. Stars and Strikes.
I didn't even know we had a location in North Carolina anymore.
Yeah, this looks like Magic Mountain to me, but with bowling. I love bowling.
Not the California amusement park, though, right?
No, Magic Mountain, like the place in Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's Magic Mountains everywhere, though.
Really?
Oh yeah. If you're in the chat, you know what Magic Mountain is. Just let us know. I think there are. Yeah. How was Stars and Strikes?
Oh, it's the worst job I've had by far.
Whoa. Okay.
Hard to believe.
Let's hear it.
So here's what I was doing, right? At the time, I was a counter attendant. So all I had to do was watch the counter. And I made $8.50 an hour, which sounds easy enough and sounds like, 16-year-old kid probably pays enough, but it was awful. It was the worst job I've ever had. And the first reason is because I had to drive an hour out to get there every day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is crummy.
Yeah, I was in like dire need of a job, and we're the first people to take my application, and like I realized they were an hour out, and it was just too late. I figured like, well, it'll cover it. I'll make it work.
I don't think it
so
works,
I had to drive an hour
Bear.
out every day just to get there.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I don't think it actually worked. I'm doing the math in my head, but listen, I'm not making fun because I'm gonna tell you, I did this plenty of times where it was like, I think I'm gonna get a job at this place, but like it didn't cover like the gas or the time that I was doing it. So, I drove for Lyft for like almost a year, and I don't even think I broke even. And honestly, I think that's why the Kia Soul died early. So, I'm with you on that. But an hour for $8.50, a 2 hours in a car for $8.50 an hour, I don't think that works.
So here's how I made it work, right? There was a ton of shifts where I would work 12 hours. I'd get there, I'd have to get there early. I'd work a double. I'd get there right at when we opened. I'd get there right at 11. Sometimes a little bit earlier because I had to help open up. And then I would work through straight until I absolutely had to leave for my state's legal curfew on my license at 11 p.m. And I would work for 12 hours straight, no break.
Bear, you are the hardest worker, I think, that calls this show. A 12-hour day, I would do 8s at Chuck E. Cheese and want to fucking die when it was time to leave. Like, and the reason I bring that up is because a bowling alley is essentially Chuck E. Cheese. What this place looks like essentially like Chuck E. Cheese, or was there league nights where it was a bunch of bowler people?
Oh God, we had league nights too, and the league nights were awful because we'd shut off all the lanes except for like 2 on the end and the VIP lanes. And these families would just come in, they'd be like, "We want to bowl," and I'd be like, "Well, we can't. We have league nights, and everyone else is taken up, so we'll have a wait. We'll have a wait for you." And they'd always just start yelling at me. These dads would get so like pissed off because they couldn't let their kids bowl. It would be ridiculous.
I get mad about that though too, Bear.
It
I'm not gonna lie.
ruined bowling alleys.
Yeah.
You could never fucking go whenever you wanted. There was always some horse shit going on that you had to either get irate or just go home.
Yeah. Can I say this? Listen to I want for the people that don't know Stars and Strikes, and especially for Brett, who's gonna get insanely jealous that we don't have a Stars and Strikes here. Listen to what they have, dude. They got an arcade.
Cool.
Laser tag.
Great.
Escapology, which is escape rooms.
Whoa, okay.
Bumper cars.
Wow.
Virtual reality.
Jeez.
Axe throwing.
Wow.
And bowling.
Everything in one.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
What location has axe throwing? When did we get that?
They got it all, baby. I mean, that is a hell of a fucking lineup for a place.
It's an incredible universe.
I want to go there.
Yeah, I'm into it too.
The thing about Incredible
I'm gonna
Universe
be honest.
was that it was an electronics store.
Sorry, wrong one. What was the one called? Amazing Places?
Amazing Places. Yeah, we used to love that place.
There was a big center here that had the fly wall. They also had the BB guns where you could shoot like the stars out. They had beach volleyball, and they also had RC cars that you could drive around.
They did, but it was all like super like chintzy. It was all kind of cruddy, and I mean, when you got bowling at a place, that's tight. Like bowling being the base level of fun.
Yes.
At Stars and Strikes, and then like if you get bored with bowling, you can do one of these other activities.
Add-ons.
Plus augmented reality bowling. Plus.
What does that mean? You just see
like Angry Birds.
Trippy shit?
Well, the Angry Birds are like on the lane, and like you roll the ball, and
you knock the pigs.
I guess something with the Angry
pins
Birds.
or pigs.
They call it. It says Angry Birds. It doesn't show you exactly what it is, but
Bo Problemo says it's all near military bases.
Stars and Strikes. That makes sense too. I mean, look, I'm not a patriotic guy. Okay. I'm going to say that.
We get that.
But if I lived near a military base, I would name my business something that had to do with patriotism. That's just, that's just smart business.
Get money.
Yeah, yeah. So you did 12-hour days at this place. Axe throwing, wow.
I'd work 3 12-hour days a week and then 2 5-hour days a week. They'd give me 2 5-hour days and they'd be like, well, that's why we're able to do the 12-hour days.
And you're a teenager?
Yeah, I was 16 at the time, and the 5-hour days they try to like kick me out the door a little bit early because they'd be like, "Oh, you can't hit overtime, so get out of here."
That is wild. I can't believe you're allowed to work 12s when you're a teenager, and like 3 12s and 2 5s is 46 hours. Bear, it's too much.
You're working yourself to the bone.
Well, in in Georgia, there's no actual laws on. There's not really any laws on what you can and can't make people who are 16 do compared to like what you can make a full-grown adult do. So they could kind of just make me do whatever they wanted.
Oh, because in Ohio, the laws are crazy for like 14 and 15-year-olds, and in 16 they get a little more normal, but they're still even like, if you're gonna work 8 hours, you gotta have 2 breaks and a lunch and like all of that stuff, and they have to pay you for the breaks, which is kind of nice. So
no, see here it's like if you're under 18, you can't serve alcohol and you can't work at like a mill, but other than that, it's whatever, full hands off. You work all kinds of jobs. I was working in kitchens, like full equipment, pulling 12-hour days, at like 17. So that's.
And you can't serve booze.
Yeah, we have none of those laws.
So you're not allowed to serve booze when you're a kid
you can't
still?
serve liquor until you're 18.
Or are you allowed to sell it at the grocery store?
Yeah, no, you gotta be 18 for that.
Are you allowed to sell it at the grocery store?
I don't actually know. Grocery stores are the only thing I've never worked because my dad did that. So I'm like, well, I'm never going to do that.
Not
so
I don't my dad's footsteps. I worked at one. It's what's good about working at a grocery store? You can hide. It's a good hiding job. This is a big place. So I mean, unless you're a cashier, then you can't hide. So maybe I'm full of shit, but I was able to hide, which was good. They'd be like, "Hey, Brian, go sweep the whole store," and I'd be like, "All right, well, I'll see you in 4 hours." They go wander around and talk to people. Well, Bear, thanks for calling. We gotta. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna state like the major cons of this job, like real fast, like the worst stuff that happened. Just list them all out.
Okay, let's hear it. You
are never allowed to sit down or lean against the counters. If a manager sees you, you will get yelled at, and a couple people got written up. I never got written up, but a couple people have.
I hate that rule, that no sitting and then also no leaning. That's Buc-ee's does that. Not even during break at Buc-ee's.
Yeah, they work your ass.
Okay.
Oh my God. I love Buc-ee's, but I hate how they treat their employees. So it's like I go there once every few months, and I complain about it the whole time, and I like sympathize with the employees, and then I buy like a hoodie and leave.
Yeah, they make good money, but it doesn't seem like a fun place to be.
Nah, it's awful. But so no leaning, no sitting. You weren't allowed to leave from behind the counter unless you were like following a customer. So, like, I just had to stand in that one spot for 12 hours a day.
Oh, okay. That sounds great.
They regularly just stole, like, the actual wages from bartenders all the time. And one of the bartenders called them out for it and said that he was going to report them to, like, the labor department if they didn't pay him. And the response was, okay, and then they gave him a write-up for, like, insubordinance or something.
Yeah, that's a good move. You can tell somebody they did insubordination, and it'll scare them away from saying anything ever.
I got a write-up one time for you got free bowling if you work there, but rather than giving one of our employees, like, 3 free games of bowling, I gave them 1 hour, and I got a write-up for that.
Is that what's so they're not allowed to? That doesn't make sense. It takes an hour to do 3 games. Instead of 3 free games, they gave them an hour. Seems like the same thing.
If you're solo,
which is about the same amount.
Yeah, I agree.
Solo and frisbee golf is fast.
True.
They also I had to do a quarantine. This was like right at the beginning of the pandemic. So I had to quarantine because my family had caught COVID. And then they were supposed to give me sick pay for it. But when I requested it, they were like, no, you don't qualify. And I was like, but you have a pamphlet up in the back stating that I do. And they're like, we don't have that many employees. You don't qualify. We're not giving it to you. And I just never saw the money.
Damn.
Yeah, they get away with a lot of that.
Stars and strikes. You got a great business there, but you treat the employees like shit, Reno.
And we had one employee who got fired for stalking a 16-year-old that worked in the arcade when he was 30. He fired for that.
Well, at least
And
he
then
got
they
fired.
brought him back.
Oh.
They brought him back
To
afterwards.
cut his fingers off?
And,
To put the head of his penis in a cigar
no,
cutter?
he's still. No, they just let him walk around. He wasn't even banned from the arcade. And then he started harassing me. And when I reported him, they gave him like a warning write-up. And then when I complained to Human Resources, I actually got a write-up for wasting company time or something.
What?
He seems like he must be like the hardest working dude in the world. You know, where they're just like, we can't live without this guy.
Oh, that's awful.
Stars and stripes.
I don't know what the deal is, but that guy just sucks. He was the worst, scummiest guy, and I hated him. And then the walking out story on that one was really funny because I was complaining to my manager about the fact that that guy was still working there, and he said, well, I mean, obviously you don't have that much conviction over it. You're still working here. I mean, if you really care that much, get up and do something about it. And so my response to that was to just take my uniform shirt off. He was wearing a shirt under it, and I just threw it at him. And I was like, it's not worth it, Darren. And I walked out.
Yay!
Never spoke to any of them again.
Hell yeah.
And then I had to stop back in there like a few months later because I was getting I just needed some water and my car was breaking down. So I just walked back in, figured I'd say hey to whoever was still working there. And they actually handed me a letter stating that I was formally banned from all Stars and Stripes locations.
Fuck yeah, even better.
Nice.
Did you frame it? Did you frame that?
I mean, Bear, I actually kind of feel bad for you because
I don't
of all
have
of
it
the things
framed,
that
but I
happen.
should.
You should. You should.
I mean, yeah, now they have axe throwing. I gotta throw axes.
They have escapology there that you could do. I don't know if that's how they might say escapology.
Yeah, you got
escapology.
Yeah,
it's spelled escapology though. So
no, it's escapology.
Yeah,
it's got to be escapology. That's what I'm calling it.
The study of escaping.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling, Bear. It's good to hear from you.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
What? Thanks for calling. We are going to go on break. If you're in the queue, we will get to you. Looks like we're doing the whole damn thing this week. We've got music from Depremere, Deprimere. This came from Struggling Uncle. They said shameless plug, but my friend put out a record on an explicitly anti-fascist black metal label, and I think Brett would fuck with this. So this is from the album In Search of the Grave Warden's Tome by Depremere. We are Street Fight, and we'll be back to take your calls after this break. Peace. Hello there, and welcome back to Street Fight Call-In Show. We're 2/3 of the way done here. We are going to get to all your calls if you're in the queue. Stay on the line. And if you want to talk to us next week, Brian is taking the night off. So I will be hosting the show with Kasai Richardson. You might know him from Twitter or Instagram as Thick, THICC _ puppy, PUPPIE. He's a good buddy of mine and will offer a lot of good insight into the calls. So we will be doing that next Sunday, October 10th.
My daughter requested that I take the night off for her birthday, so I'm doing it.
That's all you get, kid.
Oh, fuck, I wish. I fucking wish. Who knows what she's getting?
We'll find out.
She hasn't asked for nothing yet, but it's going to be expensive, whatever it is. It's also my mom's birthday coming up, and she likes to ask for stuff like an iPad.
Oof.
I mean, she doesn't get them. She just asks for them because she's my mom and doesn't have that thing in her brain that tells her that what she's saying is crazy.
Uh-huh.
You know? So, I mean, that's arguably I have that too, and that's led me to success in my life.
You just have to know when to say the stuff out loud at the right time.
Yeah.
If you like the music, that was Deprimer, DEPRIMERE, deprimer.bandcamp.com.
Bing, pow, boom. Let's get some calls.
Thanks for calling Street Fight.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, it's you. Who's this?
Hey y'all, this is Marla from Dallas. How are y'all?
Good. How are you, Marla?
Hey, glad to hear from you. I was looking for you.
I was looking for you, but I couldn't
Yeah.
find
You got banned, right?
Yeah, so I've been MIA for No, I didn't get banned. I deactivated. Okay, backstory for people who don't know. My name is Marla. I'm a stripper in Dallas, and I've been on Twitter for like 2 years now. Know a bunch of people from there, and I have a Substack, marlacruz.substack.com, where I talk about like decriminalization of sex work from a stripper's perspective. And I actually deactivated my Twitter about 10 days ago because a customer found my account, like my Twitter account, and he found my Substack and the handful of podcasts that I've done where I've talked about like decriminalization and sex worker politics. And this customer is being really weird about it. I almost don't even want to like talk about like my Twitter account on this call because I'm scared that he's gonna find this call too and like listen to it and find out that I've been talking about him.
Yeah, that's
this
really
customer.
scary.
I've only known. Yeah, this customer. I won't name him because he actually shares one of y'all's names, and that would be weird. But I've only known him for like 3 weeks, and he's a big spender. He's spent quite a bit of money on me in these 3 weeks that I've known him. But he found my Twitter and all my shit online like 5 days into knowing each other because I was really stupid and I let him pay me through Cash App, which has my name that I also have on my Twitter, on my Cash App. And so I guess he just Googled me. I don't know. But he's like wealthy, like middle-aged surgeon. Very clearly somebody that does not share my politics or our politics. And so I deactivated my account because I'm like kind of freaked out by it.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do?
I should have known that would happen.
Yeah, I mean,
you shouldn't have.
You know what? I'm taking this as a sign to just stay off Twitter.
It's not your fault though. Like you shouldn't have known. I mean, that guy shouldn't fucking act like that. Like, there's no reason to get. The relationship is y'all have he spends money for dances. It isn't that like he's like gets to know your whole fucking life. I don't know where in the hell men decided that like once they go to the club that like everybody at the club is looking for like a husband or something. That's why they're dancing, not for money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I've never had anybody react as he did.
He was
Whenever
mad
found
about
my
it?
stuff, because I know for a fact that he was like, the way he told me that he had found my account and like my stuff online was he dragged it out over the course of 2 days, and these were 2 days that I wasn't working. So like he had like my text now number, so we communicate back and forth through there, and he would ask me questions where I gave him like there's a discrepancy in my answer that I gave in the club versus what he could find out on my Twitter. So like he kept asking me if I have a boyfriend, and like I kept telling him no because I don't want to talk about my boyfriend with my customers. I think that's weird.
No, he's
But
not privy to that
he
information.
dragged it out over 2 days. Yeah, the thing is, like, yeah, totally. Like, what weirds me out the most is that like he's like middle-aged and rich, right? And a lot of people think that in a job like this, when you're a dancer, that if you meet like a big spender, somebody who's willing to spend a lot of money on you in the club, they think that's an inherently good thing. But I'll tell you right now, the people who have spent the most money on me on the club, like the customers who have been the most lucrative, they're sick in the head. Like they're sick in the fucking head. There's no way that you can be that wealthy and be like mentally sane and be a good person and like retain like your morals and like a sense of ethics. Like those customers are absolute nightmares to deal with. The men who are willing to like drop thousands and thousands in the club, like they're I don't like them and I don't like dealing with them. But like the money's so good that it's like, yeah, I guess I'll put up with like a little bit of creepy behavior then and now to like get this money because that's what the job is about. You know what I mean?
No, I mean it's like playing with fire. I mean it's like you said, it's good money, but like this person is inside of themselves think they own you in some way, or they're in control of you, or that they have right to say this stuff. And you know, I mean, there's a stripper I talked to, and she has people all the time that are like, "Hey, I want to bring you out for a business opportunity," and then you find out the business opportunity is you hang out with them all day, and they're like, "No, I came here to work. I did not come here to like start a romantic relationship or anything like that." And even girls that do OnlyFans or just sell like titty pictures through Cash App. The way that they tweet, guys will be like, wait a second, you know, making like a sexual joke or saying something online that's just meant to be a one-liner. Guys think they have some sort of ownership over women because they're talk to them, or like they need to respect their time or something. It's really broken system, and leftist dudes are just as bad as everybody else. It's just all men are. We're all trained to be very fucking weird and creepy and then like get away with it. And it takes a lot of undoing, and money doesn't help the situation. Money just makes you think like you're being rewarded for your awful behavior. Like you're doing the right thing, or you figured life out because you have a whole bunch of money. It's weird.
That's so creepy. Like, what do you do in this situation where it's like, you should be able to have your Substack and your Twitter account and all that stuff without it being like this big weird thing with some guy. But yeah, you don't ever hear about, okay, dudes don't, I can't put myself in the mind of a guy who meets somebody that's at work. When they meet them, they meet you at work, and then they go searching all over the fucking internet for you and listening to podcasts that you're on and fucking reading your Twitter and shit like that. Like, that's fucking bonkers. That's like crazy fucking behavior. It's like borderline, like, it is stalking is what it is. I mean, they call it cyber stalking when jokingly, when people do stuff like that, you know? That is fucking scary and weird. I mean, who knows what his like thing was? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Well, then it creates this scenario of like, how do you cut it off, or how do you get rid of them? Like, you have to worry about the exit now too, right?
Yeah. This is one of the things that I hate about customers like this is that they end up taking up so much of my mental space, like inside and outside of work. And so honestly, I thought it was going to be cut off like this past weekend because I normally only work weekends, and I knew he was going to be there again this weekend. And I thought he was going to be upset with me because I started ignoring his texts. Like, I didn't answer any of his texts for like a week straight because one of the things that this guy does, and it's common with men who do this, who meet you in the club and then want to find out everything about you, is that he started trying to be like emotionally manipulative with me. Like, he started love bombing me, which I think is, when men love bomb me in a club, it's like more disgusting to me than if they're just horny towards me. And for anybody who doesn't know, like, love bombing is like a tactic of like emotionally abusive people to show off really grandiose gestures of like love and romance really early in the relationship of you knowing them. So examples of this would be like if somebody tells you like I love you really early on in the relationship, or they start wanting to like move in together really early on in the relationship, like those are kind of forms of love bombing. And the way that this guy was acting was like really weird. Like it was literally the second night that I saw him in the club that we like spent a bunch of time together because he's spending all this money on me, and like that's how that works. I told him at the end of the night, I was like, I have to go home now. You know, the club is closed. I gotta go pay my house fee and leave. And he started crying. Like, he put his face in his hands and he started crying, trying to like manipulate me into feeling bad that I had to leave when he had to spend all this money on me throughout the night.
Fuck.
Wow.
And again, this is a middle-aged man. Like, imagine like a grown middle-aged man crying because you have to say goodnight to him. Like, that's fucking weird.
It's
and
very
I thought
weird.
he was gonna be like, yeah.
It's not.
I thought he was gonna be mad at me if I saw him this weekend because I haven't responded to him.
I cannot put myself in this guy's head at all. Like, he's got like real problems. And I assume because he has money, the club isn't like gonna do anything about this.
No, not at all. The thing is, he's close with, oh my God, this makes it worse. He's really close with the owner of the club.
Jesus Christ.
So whenever he came in this past weekend, and like he was really friendly towards me and was willing to give me a lot of money, so I just hung out with him, and the owner of the club was there that night. And so we were all just like kind of hanging out, popping bottles, drinking, you know, partying. And that's what he pays me. Like, he pays me to party with him. And he made, like, there's a certain red flags that come up with him that make me wonder, like, is this guy just going to be annoying, or is he actually going to be a problem? Like, does this dude have the potential to be dangerous? I have no idea. I think it's too early to try to really make that call yet. But one of the things he said to me this past weekend when I saw him was he made a joke about getting me fired from the club so I could be financially dependent on him. Because he's like, if you're my girlfriend and I want you to be my girlfriend, like, I don't want you dancing. I would just want to pay you to stop dancing.
Dude.
Yeah, this is the worst person. This is the worst fucking guy.
I'd like to fight this guy.
Fuck this
like,
guy.
in my mind,
If you're
I'm
listening,
like,
yeah.
I wish I could go find this guy and whip his ass, his surgeon ass, and break his surgeon hands. I hate this guy. I want to do what happened to Doctor Strange to him.
It's, I mean, totally unacceptable, totally unrealistic, totally living in a fantasy world and high on his own fucking ego that he can do whatever he wants and that he's like God. Manipulative people, though, are crazy as hell. I had one where someone kind of forced themselves on me and I had to forcefully tell them no. And then they started crying. But then I could see them looking out of the corner of their eye at me to see if I was watching them cry. And it made my fucking skin crawl. It was so weird because it was like, you were putting on a show right now.
Yeah.
You think that I'm going to fall for this. You think so little of me that I'm going to fall for this stupid ass show of emotion.
I mean, I think that probably works more often than not.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like if this guy cried, and if this guy, even just me not knowing him, cried in front of me, it would affect me. You know what I mean? Like I just feel bad for people who make a public spectacle of themselves. It's kind of a it's a weird thing with me. Is like I don't know how I would handle something like this, because I would be like, I gotta fix this problem. I fucked up, because you know I make everything my fault. So it's like it's at least you know like you didn't do anything wrong, because this guy seems
very bizarre.
This is a bizarre. Yeah, I really feel for you here, because this is not something you should have to deal with. This is something that, like, when I went to clubs back in like, fuck, it's probably been 15 years since I've been to a club. But, like, when I would go to them, like, I knew the deal. You know what I mean? Like, I go in, I know what the deal is. I know I'm not, like, leaving with somebody. I'm here to
party,
yeah. I'm here to have a horny night partying, and that is what I'm here for. And then when I leave here, I don't think I paid for anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like when I hand money to a dancer that I paid them for something. You know? It's very odd. I can't believe this stuff happens. And like when you also think about, again, like this guy to me doesn't even fit the profile of a guy that I would think is a creep, because he's a surgeon, I guess.
It's very common.
Apparently, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have expected that the rich guys were the creeps. Creepo.
Oh, they're the worst. The rich guys are the worst, because they think that the whole point to them of having money is that they can use money to control the behavior of people around them and get the people around them to do whatever they want to do. So like, any boundaries that I put up, like he thinks that he can just throw money at it and it'll go away.
So that is true. That is a good point. I never really thought of it like that, as in like they think that they can make it go away. I always just think they're dudes that think that they have like so much to lose, that I think they're guys that feel like they have so much to lose that they wouldn't want to mess it up, I guess.
Brian's never hung out with a rich guy. He's never
That's the other thing here is like I have never met a rich person in my life. I don't know any. I never met somebody that had six figures in their bank account, probably. So that might also be the problem. I just have this way of thinking. Of like, oh, he's a rich guy. He's got too much to lose. He probably won't act like a crazy person. But when you say it like this, I totally get what you're saying. And I believe you. It's not that I don't believe you. It's not what would have popped in my head, I guess. So, like, what do you think you're going to do? Are you just going to be off the internet now? Like, or like, are you not going to go back to the club? Like, what are the steps here? What do you even do about something like this?
I'm going to take a break from the internet for now. I had already planned on taking one, and I just kind of took this as a sign that, like, I should just get my ass off Twitter. It's bad for me anyway, and I'm happier when I'm not scrolling on that app. So taking a break in and of itself, like, I don't feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that he's being annoying about this, and I guess I don't feel like I'm in danger at this point. Watch some fucked up shit happen to me, and then, like, people are gonna be listening back to this. Like, I had all these red flags, and I didn't tell them to fuck off. But for now, I'm just taking a break from being online, and I'm not going to be back at the club for another week. I'm not going to be back until next weekend. And honestly, for now, because I don't feel like I'm in danger, I feel like I can kind of ride this wave of, typically what happens with men like this is that at a certain point they notice that like the more money they spend does not mean the more control over me that they have. Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate reality is that there are a lot of women in the club that are very, very vulnerable, that need the money more than I do for whatever reason, right? Because they're broke, because they have kids to feed, because they're in a dire situation with housing or something like that. Like, there are people who are in a much more vulnerable position than I am. And I think that's what he goes in the club to find, is to see who is the person that he can control the most with the money. Because, like, with the way that he's acting towards me, it's like, you don't know anything about me, so how can you say that you're, like, falling in love with me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, every line that he feeds me is just a line. And I'm just, like, the flavor of the month for him. And I'm just banking on, like, I'll take his money for as long as I can, and then whenever he gets bored of the fact that I'm not going to answer his texts all day, or I'm not going to go party with him every night, like, he'll just move on to the next girl.
I also have to say that when you said you ignored, like, not ignored, but you saw the red flags, all I can say is, like, in every situation I get in my life, I see red flags and just run straight into them. So I don't think it's within, like, I hate to make human nature arguments, but I don't think it's in human nature for people to even pay attention to red flags.
Well, and you know, some of the people in the chat are worried, but this is like a regular part of the job, though. Like, this is an unfortunate circumstance that repeats itself over and over again, right? Where someone tests the boundaries and goes too far. Yeah, this isn't
the first time that I had. Yeah, I would say this is the second most alarming customer I've ever had. The first one I had, this was years ago. He actually started trying to follow me outside of the club. This customer I had years ago, like, he would show up to places where I told him I would be. And so I've, like, seen those red flags before, and I had to cut him off at a certain point. But I mean, that customer was my customer for like 3 months. So it was like 3 months of, like, fucked up but escalating behavior. And it wasn't until, like, I saw that clear escalation in behavior that I was willing to take a step back and be like, I don't, like, how much do I really need this money? You know what I mean? Like, he's already given me so much. Like, I have savings now. Like, I'll be fine if I tell him to fuck off. And I think at a certain point, his behavior might escalate. But like I said, like, I feel very, I don't want to worry people in the chat. Like, I don't want people to be worried about me, because it's like, I feel like I've had good instincts about this before. And, like, I do have people around me that I feel very supported by. Like, I live in, like, a safe apartment or whatever, like, gated, cameras everywhere, stuff like that. I have a roommate, so there's somebody that would notice if, like, I went missing or something like that immediately.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't feel like I'm in danger yet, but there's kind of this tipping point that'll happen over the next 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks, where I kind of find out, like, were my instincts right, or did I completely misread the situation and this guy's, like, going to try to kill me? I have no idea, but we're going to find out. And in the meantime, I'm still going to take his money.
That's the job. That's the job. And that's the thing, is that you see all the people that complain about how it isn't work. And it's like, how would you like to fend off stalkers forever? Yeah. How much money is that worth? How much is a good hourly rate to fight off fucking stalkers?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hear about dudes, and it just, I don't know why, but dudes are shocking to me every time, like, this kind of thing. Because, again, me and my wife have been together for like 20 years and stuff. So dudes are freaks, man.
They don't rock.
Jesus, no, not very much. Well, Marla, please stay safe. And tell everybody where they can. Is your Substack still up?
My Substack is still up. marlacruz.substack.com. I'm currently off Twitter, so don't try to find me there. I'll probably be back next month, but not anytime within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah,
I will not be searching for you.
Be safe, as safe as I can.
Yeah, be safe. Keep us posted.
Thank you.
If anything happens, you know.
Hey, and if you can, get a hold of me because I wanted to have you as a guest. That's what I was looking for you the other day. I'm trying to put together a mini series of my own. I wanted to have you on as a guest. So get a hold of me if you can.
Okay, I will.
All right. Well,
Before you go.
Have a good night, Marla. Good luck.
Peace out.
I really be safe. All right.
All right, thank you.
Up next call. That's creepy, man.
Oh, I know.
I hate guys, dude.
It's I've been talking to I'm a guy that women send messages that other guys are sending to them. They're like, look what this fucking person said to me. And it's way over the line and way beyond. I mean, I have the same sensibilities as you. Like, my goodness.
That's how I always am. Yeah.
How dare you talk to a lady like that? A gentleman would never speak of a woman that way. And motherfucking strangers from the internet or people that like, hey, I think you're cute. And then they're like, you have a fucking boyfriend? Why didn't you fucking tell me? You know, just, or, I didn't know you were fucking other people while we were talking just because they made a sex joke online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's coming from, I've heard the complaints too from that it's leftists, it's union, it's union people too. It's people, it's dudes that think they're fucking left and still treat women like shit and property.
Oh yeah.
And don't understand what the fucking thing, how it works.
I totally believe all that.
Still don't see stripping as a job, a straight up fucking job. That's all it is.
It is a job. I mean, that's the thing. That's. I mean, what you said there is like, or what I had said on that call was like, she's at work. And this guy, like, I didn't want to, but you don't, like, have, well, I guess you do. I was going to say you don't have a conversation that's, like, kind of pleasant with a cashier and then go searching for them on the internet. But
some people
I'm going to have to say that probably a lot of dudes do go searching for women they talk to as a cashier on the internet.
And they imagine something inside of their mind on how things are going to happen based upon like what they read or what they want and try to force it.
It's wild, man.
It's bad.
Let's get another call in.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Tanner in Michigan.
What's up, Tanner? How's it going tonight?
Oh, it's good, man. I have a corn story, actually. I work in a live audio production.
Cool.
And the first festival I did after COVID lockdown ended was a nu metal festival, and the headliners were Korn and Rob Zombie.
Fuck, that is a hell of a show.
And I debated. It was pretty fun, man. It was good to be back. It's not really my genre, but it was fun to be working again. And yeah, Korn was great. They're great live. They do a good job. But I debated whether to tell this story because I'm always hesitant to talk.
People don't get that. Korn is really good in concert. They're like excellent live. I mean, if you don't like the music, there's nothing I can do for you. But when you see them live, you're like, oh, these guys are like actually like really good at this.
I mean, like the scatting stuff, like the Jonathan Davis scatting stuff. Like, I can't think of another person I've seen live that does anything that like. I mean, I've seen other people with incredible voices, but like it's pretty impressive how much it sounds like it could be on the record.
They also like take up the whole stage. I think that's something that people like might not know about them is that like they're legit arena rock band, man. Like they are bigger than life. It's really cool.
So I debated whether to even call in because I'm always hesitant to talk about work, but I actually didn't directly interact with. I have a Korn story and I have a Stain story from the same festival, but I didn't actually interact directly with either of them, so I think that I'm safe. So I was walking on the production road to employee parking, to staff parking, and Korn was walking toward the stage, and there's a cop standing along the road, and head turns to him and he goes, "I didn't do it, officer." And the cop goes, "Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you?" And I just like to think that he lays awake at night. And it's the embarrassing moment that he remembers of like, that's not what he said to me.
Yeah.
He said, "I didn't do it, officer." The same joke everyone else says to me 5 times a day. So that was a fun one.
So what happened with
My
Stained?
wife, my wife's not 100% convinced. She thinks maybe he. What was that?
What happened with Stained? I hear Aaron Lewis is an enormous asshole.
Oh, he well, you know, he wears it on his sleeve, you know, the far right stuff. He was wearing an impeach Biden hat while he was singing and stuff. But behind the stage, they were the band that played before Rob Zombie on the second day. And behind the stage, I saw him talking to 2 or 3 of the cops that were working the festival. I guess most of these are cop stories, actually, too. But cops are always at festivals. I saw him talking to 2 or 3 cops, and I was like, oh, you know, Stained cops, adds up. They're probably fans or whatever. And so I go into the changeover. You know, I'm on stage, like, you know, pulling my cables and whatever. And I go backstage, and he's surrounded by, like, 10 cops. Or not surrounded, but, like, circled with, like, 10 cops. Just, like, still shooting the shit with him, like, 45 minutes later or something. And
he loves
it made me wonder, like, did they like radio to each other and be like, oh, hey, man, Aaron Lewis is talking to us? Or was he like, I want to talk to the cops here and tell them that I appreciate them?
I think a little bit of both, but I would say that he definitely probably pulled a bunch of cops aside and said that he appreciates them because, I mean, he wears thin blue line shirts on stage when he performs. That guy loves the police.
Yeah, I imagine he's talking to one, and then another one comes to check out like where his partner's at, and he's like, hey, big guy, what's the best story you got? He's like, you know, Aaron Lewis is like a 7-year-old, and he's just like, you look so strong. How do you work out? Like, every time he sees a cop, he just starts immediately getting on his knees and groveling and being like, can I touch your arms?
You look so strong. What are your exercises that you do, sir?
What's the baddest criminal you ever busted? Do you have any tattoos?
He's trying to figure out if he's on their workout playlist or not.
Hey, do you have Mud Shovel on your workout playlist? Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go with a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. And what happened was he was talking to a couple of cops. One of those cops broke off and walked away and ran into other cops and was like, Aaron Lewis is over there just fucking chatting with cops. Yeah. And, you know, probably a lot of the other acts don't want to hang around the cops.
Well, they're both the most, I mean, cops are so egotistical that, like, when there's like, yeah, this big-time celebrity, you know, he's been all over the world, but he ain't never met a cop like me before.
Yep. Totally true. Well,
yeah, that's probably part of it. That's funny.
That was great. It sounds like Korn was cool and Stained was uncool, much like all throughout the 90s and 2000s.
It was weird because I'm in Michigan. Oh, what's up?
No, go ahead. I was gonna say thanks for calling, but what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying I'm in like this is like still a pretty hot like new metal market in Michigan.
Fuck yeah.
Like like Drowning Pool and like Slipknot and Korn, like all those bands do really well here. And the two bands from that genre I really like are System of a Down and Deftones, and I've just never crossed paths. It just hasn't happened yet. Which System doesn't tour a lot, but Deftones still does. So I'm just waiting on the day. It's gonna come one of these days.
Yeah, they don't get out to the Midwest as much. Deftones. I think they're bigger on the West Coast, and like overseas maybe. The Deftones are great. Yeah, they're also like one of those bands that like takes up the whole stage. That, like have incredible presence and like if you've seen a lot of arena shows and festival shows, you'll know that some artists like just aren't good at like taking up the whole stage. They just kind of do their thing and walk off. I will warn you real quick before we go. System of a Down is not good live. Like some of the worst concerts I've ever seen for System of a Down. But maybe they're better now.
I remember hearing that on the episode.
Yeah, maybe they're better now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of shows that weren't that good live, so kind of more of a almost like a checkbox in my mind.
Well, their drummer's a Trump guy.
And then their
drummer's
I get to tell someone who doesn't care at a bar in 20 years.
Yeah, their drummer's a Trump guy. I think that's why they haven't toured. Like, I think there's problems in the band because their drummer's like a Trump dude.
Yeah. I've heard about that. That's a bummer. He was like other than Serge, he was like my second favorite like player in the band when I was like a teenager. Like he had the craziest riffs, and then I remember when that story came out, and I was like, well, at least it's far enough after the fact now that I can tuck it into the nostalgia hole in my mind.
Yeah, he's great. He's a really good drummer. He's just a Trump guy, which is so weird.
Yeah.
System of a Down of all bands. Like it could have been literally any other nu metal band. It was the only political nu metal band. He has a Trump guy in it.
So where do they expect us to go in the Bombfall band?
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling. Have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, you too.
Rolling.
Speedish.
Yeah, we're going to have to speed round here. We're running out of time, and calls just keep rolling in.
Thanks for on Street Fight.
Hey there, how's it going?
Great, how are you?
Pretty good. I called like a few months ago, I guess probably like in April or May, about my name's Tom, but I had a coworker. I'm a custodian at a public school, and I had a coworker who was like leaving early and clocking out at home. And
I remember you, Tom.
Yeah.
What?
I was just.
Please tell us what's going on now.
So
okay, let me catch people up. So Tom works at a school, custodian overnight, and the guy that is supposed to be cleaning the school with you, right, is like just clocking in and going home and getting drunk or something.
Yeah, and then like we have like a mobile app to like clock in and out, and for some reason his work's like 3 towns away instead of like just inside the building. So he like he would get his 8 hours, but probably only work like 3 or 4 or whatever. And he sucks. He's like terrible at his job.
So what happened? Are we still in this situation?
So like, not really. It actually worked out pretty well for me. I decided to just like keep my head down and keep like doing a good job and whatever. And so this actually happened right before July 1st. But because of what happened, my schedule shifted. So they did what's called an involuntary transfer, which is like the school board has a meeting and they do the paperwork so they can like force you to switch a building or whatever. And so I don't know if like they caught on to what he was doing, like the principal did, and just didn't want to like deal with it because this dude's mom is like the secretary to the superintendent and like doesn't want any of that smoke or whatever. But for whatever reason, they switched our positions. So now I have his job and he has my old shitty job, and it's been really great.
Awesome.
And
you won.
And it also like it lined. Yeah, like basically, yeah. The position I had before, I was splitting between 2 buildings, like 4 hours at each building. And my supervisor there, my head custodian, was like he had like a huge hard on for me. He was an absolute asshole. And it like started probably my first week there where, you work your 4 hours, you have a half-hour lunch break, and then you clock in the other building. And one night he's like, oh, the Girl Scouts are here until like 6. So just like have your lunch here and hang out and lock up after they leave, because sometimes they stick around after 6. And I said, no, that's work, and my lunch break is my time. And he had a fucking total meltdown, and it was like all downhill from there. So I don't know if like my principal at that building knew that I was basically like ready to quit because I wasn't going to be able to put up with that guy for like, I mean, I literally like told the dude to fuck off. Like it got really confrontational a couple of times, and like other than telling the guy to fuck off, I was like professional, and the 65-year-old head custodian was not at all. Like he was coming in early and checking the security cameras every day to make sure that I was like doing everything perfectly or whatever. And it was just like super stressful. So I don't know if like my principal was trying to help me out, or if they were trying to get rid of this dude that sucks, or try to get the dude that sucks to have some more oversight with this like hard ass boss or whatever. But for whatever reason, I just have like a way better job, and I'm like totally set up to have a head custodian position when mine retires next June. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Way to go.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
you did it.
And you didn't tell
Yeah, it's pretty
anybody.
tight.
You won and didn't even have to snitch. That is
Yep.
how it works, baby. The world, the universe will help you, will provide.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to go to work, so that kind of sucks. But it's a lot better than it was. And I mean, literally, when I got the paperwork for the involuntary transfer, or I guess, so me and the dude I work, like, the reason I didn't call in all summer is because the summer job you switch to 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So I switched from doing my night shift to my day shift, and was like up early and went to bed at like 8. And so I started doing that with the guy that sucks, the guy that was like always sandbagging it or whatever. We would work together during the day, and the principal just came up and he's like, can you guys turn that music off? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I think it's going to be best for everybody if you guys switch positions. So I put in the paperwork, and I'll see you on July 1st, Tom, at 6 a.m. or whatever. So I was like, all right.
That was it?
So it just,
That is great.
yeah, that was all
That
like,
is-
but didn't, yeah, so
Massive
it's very
win.
nice. And
I
like,
call
my
that a
girlfriend-
win.
Yeah, my girlfriend noticed like my because I was super anxious about going to work because of that asshole supervisor, and just like super stressed out about work all the time. And the second that transfer went through, I just like, it was like a complete 180 on my mood. And I mean, like, especially during the pandemic and working in public schools, it was like a huge load off my shoulders. So it's been a lot better.
That's
All
great.
right.
Glad to
That's
hear
good
it.
news. Thanks. That's really
We
good
did-
news.
we
good,
did-
Good job.
Real quick, we did have a bomb threat Friday afternoon. So I showed up to work, and there were like 30 cops there. And the school I work at now is like 3rd and 4th graders. And I guess like a 3rd grader wrote on the bathroom wall, roses are red, violets are blue. This school's going to blow at 1:32. They fucking evacuated the whole building. It was so awesome.
No test.
So I
Third grader.
So I also got an hour of overtime just chilling outside because the police wouldn't let us in. And I'm like, I texted my union rep and I'm like, is this considered hours work if I'm like stuck here? And he's like, oh hell yeah, clock in. So like $30 or whatever, just like fucking stand outside and smoke cigarettes in front of the school.
God, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh man. Anyway, well, thanks for
thanks for calling. Thanks for the
my call. I
update.
just wanted to fill you.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah,
Have
if
a
I
good...
get that head custodian position next June, I'll call back in and let you guys know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good. Congratulations.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Jay from Indiana.
What's up? Jay, you said?
Nothing much. How are y'all doing?
We're doing okay.
Yeah, I called back. Hell yeah. Yeah. I was calling back in I think last winter about union stuff at my workplace.
Okay. All right. How do you have a union now?
We were in contract negotiation the last time I talked with y'all, and the contract is done.
Oh, so it all worked out. You got it done. How long did it take?
So the contract got done in May, and I left in March. So we started in August. So it took 10 months. No, 9 months.
Gee, it's a baby. It's a union. Like I was gonna say, it's a boy, but it's a union. There, that's the best I can do on short notice. Give me till next Sunday, and I'll come up with something.
Union.
Yeah. So how's it working out? Is everything good? Are the bosses kind of abiding by the contract? Is there tension in the office or anything?
There's always tension at the office. I'm actually working a new job. I needed to get out of the fuck out of there. So I'm working in manufacturing now rather than archiving. But I'm still I still follow the things, and I'm still in the groups and stuff. And tension and stuff. They laid a bunch of people off because the boss failed to secure work for everyone because he's an abrasive asshole. So they laid a bunch of people off, my partner included. But everyone got like pay raises, and the full-timers got PTO, and there's recall rights, which it was tight because when they needed to hire more people again, my partner got a text from the film studio manager. It was like, hey, do you want to come back? And my partner just texted, LOL, fuck no, and ghosted him.
Well, I'm really glad. So everybody's happy. Everything worked out. Now there's a union. It only took 9 months of arguing with ownership, but it's going to take time. How long, can I ask you this? How long did it take from the beginning to the end of the union? Like, starting, because we don't talk about the nuts and bolts of it nearly enough on here. And I am like actually kind of curious how, from the first day that you all started
2 years and 2 months.
2 years. Okay. So it takes 2 years, 2 months about. That is, but hey, that's good to know though, because I'm sure there are people in union drives that feel hopeless right now that have been at it for like 6 months or something. And are like, I don't know, it might not work out, but it takes time. This kind of thing takes time.
Yeah. No,
Unless
it takes a lot of time.
Unless you kill the owners.
It's worth it. I can tell you. Well, then it takes no time, and you're a fucking king, and God bless you forever.
Yeah, you just gotta kill him. You know?
But the specific thing that I'd like to call in to talk about was being able to strike while no longer being employed at that place, which felt very good. Because we did a work stoppage because they took 6 weeks to get back to us. And I left that workplace because I was like, fuck this shit. I'm trans. I want to go get a new fucking job where I'll get health care and other shit. And that I was very fortunate, and I got that. And a few weeks after I left, it had still been a few weeks since the manager of operations got back to us, and my coworkers and our union were just like, my union coworkers were just like, fuck this shit, work stoppage, and none of them came in. And the manager and the management just like shit their pants. It was so funny watching it. And I was like, I think I was off work that day, or I was doing something. And one of like the delivery people called me and was like, hey, your number was on the door. Can you let me in? And I was like, honestly, dude, I don't work there anymore. And I'm not going to call the manager because I feel like like my coworkers are on strike right now, and I'm never going to be a fucking scab. And the dude just was like, yeah, that makes sense. And he just hung up. And it was fucking beautiful.
Perfect.
That fucking kicks ass.
And I carried on with my fucking day.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Fuck that workplace. I'm happy to be out of there. Working a dehumanizing manufacturing job.
Congrats.
Well, hey, I'm glad it all worked. I'm glad the union happened, though. That is really good news. That's a real positive. 2 positive calls in a row. Look at us go tonight.
Good.
And then we got one more to take, and maybe it'll be positive. You know, who knows?
I hope it's a positive one. I hope if y'all ever want someone to talk about like really boring nuts and bolts union stuff, I'm more than happy to talk about that.
Okay.
We'll put that on the list.
Yeah. We will put that on the list of things to talk about. Well, thanks for calling.
Hell yeah.
Have a good evening.
Of course. Yep.
Peace. All right.
Yeah, y'all as well. Take care.
Hitting that last cow. Last cow.
The cow in me. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Douglas from Austin, Texas. I have a story about my trainer when I was a trucker who was a literal Nazi.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, let's hear it.
All right, yeah. I'm from Alabama originally. I moved out to Tennessee to get a job with some company. I think its abbreviation was PTL, and started off pretty normal. They asked if I wanted smoking or non-smoking in trainers, and told them off the bat I was like, I'll go with non-smoking. It took almost 2 weeks for a trucker to come in that was not smoking, so that was already a bad sign.
Can I tell you something though?
Yeah, that was.
I smoked when I was when I worked, and I would smoke obviously even if the person didn't smoke. I rolled the window down, but like I had the opposite thing. They just put me with a guy. And I got into the van, and he was like, "Do you smoke?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, too bad." And was like, "You ain't smoking." So I wasn't allowed to smoke. He was a real prick about it too. But so I had the opposite.
Yeah, so what happened with me is I actually was more of a social smoker, so I could if I wanted to, but I was just like, I feel like it'll be better if I go non-smoking. I felt like we'd have less like random stops or whatever.
True.
Anyway, I was told at the outset, hey, you're going to get to fill up on gas every day, which means you're going to get shower tokens. You'll get to shower every day. It was a week and a half before we showered for the first time because I'm on his schedule.
Oh, no.
That truck, it was horrifying.
Jesus, so
he wasn't quite at the piss in a gallon jug level.
Oh my God. I mean, he didn't shower like for days at a time?
Over a week. It was horrifying. And eventually he was like, oh yeah, we're finally going to take a shower today. And I'm like, oh, sweet zombie Jesus, thank you.
So
that was the greatest part of that entire trip.
Jeez, how many days was the trip? Like, how long was the trip?
So that's I'm building up to this thing. It's a whole. So I'm in the trailer with this guy. Things go on, and eventually I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. I'm gonna be with him for like however many months it is. It's several, like I think it's like 2 months is what it should be or something. And he just starts talking about. Yeah, when I was in jail, I was, I joined the Aryan Brotherhood, and I keep in touch. And I'm just like, that's not information you just kind of throw out there. But, and as it went on, he just started asking me questions about my family and stuff. And it's like, my older brother's gay. I'm bi. I didn't really think I should tell this guy any of that. And it starts building to where he gets more comfortable because I'm not outright being like, hey, please stop telling me your like weird racist stuff. But this was around, I think it was around the first stages of like BLM getting kind of big. And I remember him putting showing me on his phone how he had tweeted out hashtag White Lives Matter More.
Oh no.
And
yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm with this guy. Here's the best part. I was prescribed Xanax at the time, but I was told I couldn't take it while trucking, even though my doctor said it was fine. So I'm having panic attacks that I'm not showing throughout this whole thing. We go up to Pennsylvania. We go down to Texas. We're on our way back to Kentucky, and then we blow like 8 tractor tires or trailer tires on the way near Camden, Tennessee, this guy's hometown.
Oh, no.
So we drop off the trailer. I have to stay with his. He's like, oh, yeah, instead of waiting in the waiting room, just come stay with my family. Ooh. I had to stay with this crazy dude's family for about a week. There was just, it was every stereotype you could imagine. He would tell me about how his parents grew up in Sand Valley, Tennessee. He told me that was a KKK town. I didn't ask further questions on that.
No.
He had a weird brother-in-law that kept telling. He had a weird brother-in-law with very obvious track marks that kept telling me about how awesome the book or how awesome the movie Fight Club was. His wife thought she could cook and very clearly could not. their child was like a slightly skinnier version of Honey Boo Boo. And just, I'm staying with these people. It's pure insanity the whole time. I'd never felt so immersed in that kind of level of insanity since visiting a buddy of mine that lived out in Margaret, Alabama, that has a hill named after a racial slur. So eventually I like cordon myself off in the house at some point, and I make a call to the trucking line. I'm like, hey, I'd like to quit. They're like, oh, do you have what's going on? I'm like, the dude's a Nazi. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, yeah, just have him come drop you off, and it's all good. I'm like, all right. And I managed to get home, and I realized I'm pretty sure they stole my Kindle.
Yeah, that's what are you gonna do?
Something they will never use.
I can't believe they made you go tell him to drop you off because you were quitting. Like, that seems like not the best way to do that.
And they didn't care that they had a Nazi.
I know. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
That was the best part. They didn't ask any. They asked no further questions on it. And sure enough, that it was like a walk of shame. Like, I'm driving back. The guy's like, "Are you sure you don't like it?" I'm like, I just don't really think it's for me. I was just like, yeah, it's just super stressful, and I was literally losing my hair. Couldn't notice too often because I didn't get to shower much, but when I did, definitely was falling out.
I mean, the Nazism was a big issue with me.
Yeah, I mean, unless you can just jump out of the car and find someone to fly you home or come pick you up. I mean, you feel like you're trapped in those situations and you kind of shut down and you're like, I just have to make it out of this alive.
I mean, but 24 hours a day for
a
fucking
it was horrible.
Week, dude, crazy in that kind of situation is crazy.
Too much
for a job
and then with his family.
Endure.
Yeah. Oh, it was insanity. And also, his kid was like, it was like a Children of the Corn thing. Like, I would wake up in the morning in their guest room and she would be staring at me from the foot of the bed. And yeah, I thought I was gonna lose my skin or something, or wake up missing multiple organs.
Or with a swastika tattoo.
It was.
Wake up, they tattoo.
Oh yeah, no, that was the best part. He had a. Almost forgot to.
You're in the area, brother.
Forgot to mention. Had a very. He had a very, very not well hidden couple of numbers tattooed on his pectoral or something that would, because he would wear these wife beaters that would hang kind of low in the neck, and you could see a 14, and I'm like, I think I know where the rest of that number is or what it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well,
yeah,
that is terrifying.
Anyway, I'm a huge. I was gonna say I'm a huge fan of you guys. Put off listening for a while. So happy I called in. I'm gonna have to call in some other times because I've just got nostalgic. People talking about live music and janitorial. I was a manager of janitorial maintenance and event setup at a well-known music venue in Alabama, and I've got stories about the time we banned Marilyn Manson and the time he came back and knocked someone out with a birthday cake.
Whoa. Okay. Well, definitely call back. We that was a harrowing call, but thank you for calling.
Hey, it had a good ending. I make more money now than I ever did, and man, I'm sure that dude's just I don't know. I'm assuming he got COVID or something at this point.
Yeah, it's probably a good assumption.
Thanks for calling. Peace.
Hey, thank you.
That was Street Fight Radio. You can find us on all the podcasting apps. And if you want to get more, head to patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. Brian is working on Shocktober right now. We got new episodes coming every single week through the month of October. So look for that. It's hosted by Brian, Felix, and Chris. Volume 1 and 2 have come together to make Volume 3. And it's already off to a good start. Lots of people love it. So get in there. My name is Brett. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Brett Payne, BRETTPAIN. Instagram as well. You can find Street Fight WCRS on Facebook. Instagram and YouTube, and Brian is Murder X Brian on Twitter. We will see you